Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the 2021 Senior Canadian Boulder Nationals. We are in Sainte-Foy, Quebec City, at Delia-Escalade. MCP Woods here avec François Parisien. Bonjour, Frank. Comment ça va ce matin?
Ça va très bien, toi?
Oui, ça va, ça va. Aujourd'hui, on va faire un peu plus différent ce matin. Moi, je vais parler beaucoup plus en français. C'est une broadcast bilingue.
Oui, and I'm going to try to speak a little bit more in English. So this is going to be a little bit fun. We're going to throw the ball at each other.
Yeah, and vice versa. Maybe I'll speak as much in English as possible, and Frank maybe speak a little more en français.
Exactement.
We're a bilingual country, so let's speak a lot more French than maybe you're a little bit used to on a broadcast. I promise you won't miss anything. Before we get going on the broadcast this morning, Frank, we're going to do a land acknowledgement. So, in the spirit of truth and reconciliation, all of us here at Climbing Escalade Canada acknowledge that we gather on traditional unceded land of the Wendake, Wabanaki, and Abenaki people, otherwise known as the Land of the Rising Sun. We honor their long history of welcoming many nations to this beautiful territory, and we uphold and uplift the voice and values of our host nation.
Dans l'esprit de vérité et de réconciliation, nous tous à Climbing Escalade Canada reconnaissons que nous nous réunissons sur des terres traditionnelles non cédées des communautés Wendake, Wabanaki, Abenaki, autrement connues sous le nom de Terre du Soleil Levant. Nous honorons leur longue histoire d'accueil de nombreuses nations sur ce magnifique territoire et nous défendons et élevons nos voix et les valeurs de notre nation hôte.
All right, with that being done, it's important that we acknowledge the territories. We're excited to be here in Sainte-Foy at Delia-Escalade, a really, really nice gym here, Frank. We are going to run semifinals. It is going to be a little bit chaotic this morning. Lots goes on. In the middle of the round, we're going to have 8 climbers on the wall. We're going to show you as much as we can, but understand that we might miss a few things here or might miss a few things there. If anything really exciting happens, we'll probably try and get to you on replay. Let's go a bit of a rundown from what happened yesterday, Frank. We had our qualifying round yesterday. We had 150 athletes. We took them down to 40, 20 men and 20 women. The top half of the women's field, all the way down to 5th, topped all 6 boulders.
Oui, Vangela Briggs qui a fait des flashs sur chacun des blocs et ça a été la même chose pour Alana Yip. Il faut noter quand même, Pete, qu'on a 5 filles qui ont 15 ans sur ce groupe de 20 filles sélectionnées pour les semi-finales.
It's a young semi-final, absolutely. This is what we might sometimes think of as the next generation of up-and-coming competition climbers. Remember, we are at senior Boulder Nationals, and we have youth athletes who are making their debut into the senior field. The field as it stands, 20 athletes, no real surprises, no one missed that we were expecting. I think we're probably going to see our 6 semifinalists come out of this, maybe top 10, top 12 on the women's side of the field.
Yeah, there's only maybe Madison Fisher that I saw yesterday on the very last boulder. She denied. She didn't want to climb because she just had done the last boulder, and then she went on her phone, and then she looked at the results, and she knew she was already within the top 10. So she looked at the referees on the last boulder, and she said, I'm not going to be climbing this one. I'm going to save my skin, save a little bit of energy. And I think that was part of the game yesterday for the women and the men.
Absolutely. This part of the strategy, knowing that you climbed 6 boulders yesterday, skin is a bit of a factor. It was a bit humid in the gym yesterday, so they have to be a little bit strategic. And when you know you're in, she was climbing very late in the field. She knew it. She was happily into the top 20. And why do one more boulder? It's an interesting thing to see. We don't see it very often, but in this new format that we're trying, and we'll get into a little bit of how they qualified yesterday, there is more of a chance for people to be a bit more strategic. We saw a little bit of that on the men's side as well. Lucas Uchida, your top qualifier, did 5 of the 6 boulders. The same with Oscar, Victor, Ivan Liu. And then Sean McCall, you might be surprised to see in 5th place, only doing 4 of the boulders, but we saw a very similar thing. Sean climbing boulder number 3, tried it once, tried it twice, kind of looked around and thought, you know what, I'm absolutely going to do a bunch more boulders. I should be no problem.
Ouais, exactement. Donc, ça fait partie de la tactique. Hier, on avait 150 grimpeurs. On devait en retirer seulement 40 pour les semi-finales aujourd'hui. Puis plusieurs d'entre eux ont décidé de jouer un peu de tactique. Ils savaient, étant donné que c'est des grimpeurs forts, ils ont beaucoup d'expérience, ils savaient qu'ils avaient de l'espace de manœuvre. Donc, on a peut-être essayé de sauver un peu d'énergie en essayant de réduire le nombre d'essais, garder un peu plus de peau pour les doigts pour la finale, la semi-finale d'aujourd'hui.
Exactement, exactement. So we are just like that. Bam, we are underway. So we start with two climbers. We're going to run the men's and the women's field at the same time. So we're looking at Dylan Lay and Molly Dreher staring down their first boulders. And I mean, Frank, we spent quite a bit of time with the route setters last night, and we'll sort of unlock the boulders as we get to them. But there are some spicy blocks that are going to go on this morning.
Oui, et Dylan Lee, le Québécois qui déjà, sans trop attendre, a bien lu le premier mouvement, c'est fait. On a fait un dyno pour aller chercher la prise blanche à deux mains. Et maintenant, c'est beaucoup de tension, Pete, avec le talon, avec les pieds. Il faut absolument garder les pieds sur le mur si on veut réussir à tenir les prises bleues.
Yeah. And sort of the exact opposite here. That's a very dynamic, powerful boulder, and the women get to start off on a very slow-moving, very careful boulder. You see here not a lot of good handholds. The green holds that you see are all fairly small crimps. So you're going to see a little bit of a mixture of movement on this boulder, but secure feet are going to be the order of the day. And you see here Molly trying to reach for the zone, get those extra points. If you're not super familiar with competition climbing, what we care about most is we see Molly here just not coming up a bit short. We care most about tops. So the king of climbing competitions is how many boulders did you get to the top of? How many tries did it take you to get to those tops? That is how we're going to separate most of the field. You will see on every boulder a hold marked with red tape called the zone. You saw Molly reaching for it there. You're going to see Dylan here. It's this first white or the first blue hold after the big volume. The zone hold we use to break ties. If we have climbers with the same number of tops in the same number of tries, we go back and see how many tries it took them to get to the zones that they also achieved. So not necessarily what they're only focusing on, but there are going to be, as we see Dylan here, just too short.
Ah, elle a manqué la prise, donc comme je vous disais, il faut garder une grosse tension avec le talon pour rester collé au mur avec les hanches pour ensuite aller s'élancer vers la gauche, la dernière prise, la prise de top, qui, comme tu viens de le dire, est vraiment ce qu'on veut le plus. On veut avoir le plus de top possible. Pour le moment, Dylan a réussi à faire la zone en un essai. Lors de son premier essai, il a réussi à aller contrôler la zone. Maintenant, sa mission, c'est d'aller chercher son top.
Ouais. And you saw there the boulder, you're going to see all kinds of different things from the route setters. Sometimes the boulders present very simply. There's not a lot of mysteries to the sequence. You see Dylan there. He doesn't have a lot of options. Maybe he switches his left and right hand for the last move. And you see here on the women's a little bit more complex choices to be made. When you have volumes like this, you don't have options in choice, but you have options in where you grab, how you stand. And when you have little footholds, it's easy to just step on volumes. You have to make decisions. I mean, she can move her foot 6 inches in any direction, and it will change all of the angles. So very different boulders to start for the men and the women. And see, just her right foot let her down a little bit there.
Oui, et les setters, Pete, hier, quand ils nous ont expliqué un peu, alors qu'on voit ici le problème chez les hommes avec Dylan Lee, qui est complètement différent. Les setters, hier, les ouvreurs, ils nous ont vraiment bien expliqué de la façon qu'ils voulaient faire sur le problème numéro 1 chez les femmes. Un problème délicat, mais avec de l'électricité pour aller chercher les petites prises vertes où il faut vraiment y aller de façon dynamique. Donc, c'est un peu un mélange, alors que chez les hommes, on est vraiment dans un problème explosif. Chez les femmes, on est beaucoup plus dans un problème qui est très subtil, très délicat. Il faut bouger lentement. Mais regardez bien lorsque Molly va aller chercher les petites prises vertes, la prise verte de zone et aussi la prise verte de top qu'on voit par-dessus le volume mauve, il faut y aller de façon un peu plus dynamique. Donc là, elle bouge tranquillement de façon très délicate, très lentement pour garder le contrôle. Un petit mouvement va la faire complètement sortir du problème. Et juste à la dernière minute, elle va devoir créer. Caleb Thomas, il nous disait un peu plus électrique. A little bit more of electricity. You need to boom, go get the green crimp.
And it's so difficult when you're standing on volumes. As we Dylan with 20 seconds left in his first 5 minutes. This is the all or nothing. And he powered out a little bit last time. A boulder like this, it's quite steep at the top. It's almost 50 degrees. The crimps are very small. Great effort from Dylan. He's going to come up just short. The clock in the right corner, you see, the climbers have 5 minutes to try each boulder and then 5 minutes to rest. If you're not a competitor, I would invite you to try 4 boulders next time you're in the gym. Climb them for 5 minutes and then just sit on the mat for 5 minutes and then start your next boulder, and you see how quickly your energy goes down, because 5 minutes to rest when you're trying boulders like in the entire period, maybe you give it 3 or 4 tries, it starts to accumulate. So the route setters take that into account as you go through the 4 boulders that we're going to see this morning. The rest time is never long enough. You always want more, and you only get those 5 minutes. So it is something to consider as an athlete. You'll see lots of strategies. Dylan climbed right down to the wire. I think he thought he could get there. You're going to see a little bit of everything. The women's boulder, number 1, not very sapping energy-wise. So you'll see them try this one also right down to the wire. It's sort of tensiony and balancy, but it's not going to burn out their hands or their forearms.
Ouais, c'est Erika Velev ici pour l'équipe d'Alley Up qui s'élance. C'est une jeune athlète qui est déménagée à Montréal récemment. Donc, elle est pour la province du Québec. Elle a d'ailleurs participé au championnat québécois il y a environ 2 semaines. Et c'était chez Beta Block. Donc, elle a fini 5e au championnat québécois. Très, très jeune, seulement 19 ans.
Just one of the highlights of the young field that we have. Tape on every finger. That'll give you an idea of how hard the round was yesterday. That's a good catch.
Oui, c'est ça, le petit mouvement électrique dont je vous parlais tout à l'heure. Donc, il faut bouger très, très lentement, mais quand on veut aller chercher la prise verte, il faut y aller avec un peu plus d'intensité.
And there's dealer's choice here. So you can go up right hand to the finish from here. The left side, there is no crimp. So the left side is just for balance, but she's going to be able to reach it. Look at that left hand placement, fingertip to fingertip. This is very good climbing from Erika. And that is a flash, I believe.
Oui.
And a Finn Battersby with a flash. 1 or 2 tries maybe. He was just off our screen on his start, but that is a top from Finn Battersby. So good climbing right out of the gate from these two.
Oui, je crois que j'ai vu qu'il a fait ça en 2 essais. J'ai vu le panneau des officiels qui nous montrait le nombre d'essais effectués. Je crois que c'était 2.
And if you want to keep track, we do have a live scoring. The link is on the CEC page. It's cec.results. And you can keep track live. It'll be pretty close to at the end of each boulder. You should see that pop up. And as we're looking here, yes, Finn Battersby 1 top in 2 tries. So it is pretty accurate in terms of the timing. Maybe once we get into the middle of the round, it might slow down a little bit. We saw some lag yesterday. But if you want to keep track, cec.results.info. Go to semifinals, and you can follow along. It can be very difficult to keep track of who's doing what because we're looking at tops, we're looking at tries, we're looking at zones. So in order to really know what's going on, it pays to look at the results. And remember, we start in reverse order. So we're coming out with the 20th place qualifier. We're going to get all the way down in that second half of the field. Most of your finalists are going to come out of that. Remember, we're going to go from 20 climbers down to 6.
Oui, et ça va être fait sur 4 problèmes consécutifs. 4 problèmes pour les femmes, 4 problèmes pour les hommes. Et comme tu disais tout à l'heure, les gens à la maison qui veulent essayer ce genre de format à la maison, vous allez voir que c'est complètement différent. Lorsqu'on arrive au gymnase et qu'on se met devant un problème et qu'on a seulement 5 minutes pour réussir à faire le problème, c'est complètement différent que de passer une session de 2 heures sur le même problème.
Exactly. And it's difficult to do on site as well. You don't have any information. So you don't have when you go to the gym and you're working a boulder with your friends, you have they try a move and you say, oh, I put my left foot here. Oh, I crossed under. You have all of these different options. You have someone to bounce your ideas off of, and you have lots of time to try. Maybe, you might take a week to try and do a boulder at your home gym. And here, remember, 5 minutes to turn around, see the boulder for the first time, unlock the problem, decide on a sequence, and then climb the boulder. You might get, on some of these boulders, you might only get 3 tries. The women's boulder number 2 is going to be very, very sapping powerfully. You're not going to try that 4 or 5 times in 5 minutes. You might only get 2 or 3 tries. So then remember, if something goes wrong, do you change your beta? Or do you do the same thing again? You can get trapped into multiple different scenarios. So there is a mental side, a huge mental side.
Ouais, ce que les gens doivent vraiment comprendre, c'est qu'il y a un jeu en arrière-plan ici. Hein. Les ouvreurs, eux, ils essaient de faire tomber les grimpeurs et les grimpeurs, ils essaient de trouver l'énigme. C'est pas pour rien qu'on appelle ça un problème de bloc. C'est un problème, il faut résoudre l'énigme. Donc, on doit essayer de se creuser les méninges pour essayer de trouver la solution et de réussir à aller chercher le top le plus rapidement possible à l'intérieur de 5 minutes.
Exactement, exactement. Here we have Becca Frangos, who I would say I'm a little surprised to see this far down the field, but at this point, the clock resets. You just have to get into the semifinal. So she would be in a position to make that final. As you just on the corner of your scene, you see Ethan Hoffman swinging around. And Becca just sort of having a look and a quick brush. So Ethan here might make quick work of this.
Oh là là! Premier essai.
Premier essai. So a flash from Ethan.
Et regarde, il reste encore 4 minutes au cadran. Donc, quand tu disais c'est 5 minutes sur le problème, 5 minutes de repos, eh bien lui, il va bénéficier d'un 4 minutes supplémentaires étant donné qu'il a réussi le bloc en un seul essai. Donc c'est d'autant plus de repos qui va être bénéfique pour lui pour aller sur le problème numéro 2.
Yeah, it's a huge advantage to do a boulder quickly, not just because you do the boulder, but because you have this rest. And this boulder here, this is a steep, powerful section of the wall. That is steeper, maybe 50 degrees. You see that it gives you a good idea of how steep that section is. As we see Becca just trying to solve the balance here. Volume climbing, very delicate, very careful. You can see her left foot and a deep breath. She just uncomfortable.
Oh,
it's trying to create an uncomfortable situation, and they've done that.
Oui, et hier, quand on regardait les problèmes, on s'est installé un peu les pieds sur le volume mauve et je peux vous dire que c'est beaucoup plus difficile que ça paraît. Hein. Les volumes sont assez loin et c'est très, très incliné, donc difficile de tenir avec la friction de la varap sur les volumes.
And here we just have a good look at the compression. This is a powerful boulder here. So this is going to require a lot of toe hooks, a lot of heel hooks. So that's, you'll see here, Molly is just trying to engage double toe hooks, and she's going to go to the next black hole. A lot of options in here. You can go. She's going to feel a bit stretched out for sure. I don't know that that's going to work. You need to get onto that next big dimension volume. But if you're super bendy, inside heel, it'll unlock itself as we go. We're not going to try and describe the whole boulder to you. But you see there, not a lot of things to grab, not a lot of things to pull down on. And the same over here, but a completely different angle. Not a lot of things to grab, not a lot of things to pull down on. Becca Frangos, who is just fighting a little bit with the balance. Dylan Lay staring. You see a lot of time spent managing your efforts. So when you see the climbers standing on the mat, they need to rest in the 5 minutes that they're trying the boulder. You can't just try it back to back to back to back. So you see them managing their time. You'll see them turn around and look at the clock. The clocks are pretty clear in the gym. So Dylan is saving some energy and he's thinking about what needs to happen next.
Oui, c'est des problèmes qui sont longs, hein? C'est très long et on s'est bien fait expliquer par l'ouvreur en chef, Nicolas Viormoz, qui nous expliquait que les pieds doivent continuellement être sur le problème. Dès qu'un pied dans le dévers glisse, on va se faire éjecter du bloc. Donc, il faut absolument rester très, très costaud avec les talons et les crochets d'orteil sur les problèmes dans le dévers. C'est très incliné, c'est 50 degrés, hein? Donc c'est très, très dur.
Becca just trying to find the magic angle for both the right and left foot. And you wonder, sometimes shoe choice is a thing. Those are very, very aggressive shoes. It's sometimes hard to get a lot of your toe rubber on the volume. Molly here, that is a little better. I think that is as intended. 40 seconds. This is going to be the last shot she gets. Same for Dylan.
Oui, Dylan qui a attendu la dernière minute pour repartir son bloc. Donc, il a essayé d'aller chercher le maximum de repos. Aller chercher la pince mauve ici pour aller ensuite, avec sa main gauche, essayer d'aller chercher la zone.
Just trying to get that left foot. That's so high. You see Molly's with no time on the clock. Becca here is going to look back and be a little bit disappointed not to have gotten to a zone on the first boulder. It can get in your head a little bit. The first boulder is part of the game, as you were mentioning earlier. There's a game within the game here. It's the climbers are trying to win a national championship. They're trying to climb the boulders. The route setters have put up problems to steal time, to steal attempts, to steal confidence from them. And that one is going to play a little bit on Becca's confidence. You want to come out and crush your first boulder. You know the angles of the gym. You know you're going to have to climb a slab. Maybe you come out hoping your first boulder is going to be, big muscles, pull down.
Et elle a fait un peu la même chose hier, Pete. Hein, sur son problème, elle n'a pas réussi à aller chercher le top sur les qualifications hier sur le problème numéro 1. Et encore une fois, aujourd'hui, sur le problème numéro 1, elle semble avoir un peu de difficulté. Donc, il y a peut-être une espèce de stress. Elle veut bien performer. Elle sait qu'elle est en forme, Becca. Donc, probablement que ça joue un peu dans sa performance.
And remember that we haven't had a lot of competitions in Canada in the last year. We've just come out of the National Cup Series. So a couple of comps. There was one in Richmond and one in Canada in Ontario. But other than that, a lot of these climbers are coming into their first competition in quite some time. So a little bit rusty, perhaps. You have to get over your nerves. As seasoned as some of these climbers are, it's a daunting task to come and climb semifinal boulders. And you know who's coming after you. You know how good the field is. You know you need to perform. Like a sneaky little knee bar here from Finn. And looking very locked in.
Il faut serrer la main droite sur la pince. Une prise qu'on doit vraiment serrer avec le pouce.
And Riley Galloway here, hair matching the volumes, and is just in defiance of Caleb's mouvement électrique, is going to secure the zone. This is a flash attempt. You see also there some tape on the right hand.
Ouais, beaucoup de participants ont saigné du bout des doigts hier. Donc, avec la friction, c'est comme un papier sablé qui arrête continuellement, enlève de la peau. Et malheureusement, Riley n'a pas réussi à sécuriser le top. Elle est tombée à la dernière seconde.
And that's the top of this boulder. As you saw Erica go in a lot of control, Riley there tried just a little pop at the end just to get that extra space. You saw Erica was able to keep her left hand down on the zone, and Riley let it go. And then you just see that barn door as she secured the final hold, slowly opened up. Remember, you have to control the last hold with both hands to get a top. So it's necessary. It's not 1, 2, 3 seconds. You have to show the judge that you're in complete control. Your body's not in the act of falling off slowly. Riley there was sort of falling the whole time, never got her second hand in. So you want to look for control of that finish hold. And on the zone as well, you have to use the zone hold. You can't just touch it and move on. You need to take the zone hold, and then you need to move a limb in some direction in order to get points for that zone. So it's not enough to just touch holds. You see there on the left, Seb Lazur out on his boulder number 1.
Ouais, c'est Seb Lazur qui s'est surpris hier en réussissant à rentrer dans les 20 qualifiés pour les semi-finales. Seb, on doit le rappeler, a eu une fracture au niveau de sa cheville. Il faisait du bloc à l'extérieur et malheureusement, il a tombé entre les matelas de protection et ça a fracturé directement sa cheville. Donc, ça fait quelque temps déjà, depuis cet été. Et là, tranquillement, il essaie de revenir en forme. Ouais. Et je peux vous dire qu'il n'est pas blessé des doigts. Hein.
Non.
Il a réussi à faire beaucoup de travail au niveau des doigts et des épaules. Hein.
Yeah, he's as strong as ever. As you're saying, in his upper body for sure, coming back from an ankle injury. It's taken him out for almost a year, and he does look to be in good form. I was chatting with him yesterday. He said he's fine to climb. His ankle is sore, if he's walking around for any length of time. And then you get Riley with a little bit of time to spare, 30 seconds with the top on boulder number 1. So a couple tops. Have a quick look at the judge, and then fighting still, we have Finn and Erica. And Finn, I don't think has moved past this yet. I think he's the move to take your feet and replace your feet where he was right there is that second little crux of this boulder. That grabbing that purple pinch is quite hard, and then changing body position. So it's not always just the movement that's difficult. Sometimes the difficulty of a boulder is quite subtle. Sometimes it's just moving a foot that ends up being the crux of a boulder. It's not always going to be as obvious as you think. Oh, I have to make a big move to a tiny crimp or something super powerful. As we were saying, and we see Becca Frangos looking at her boulder number 2. This one, although it's a very powerful boulder, if your feet stay on, that's part of the difficulty. Your feet might come off. Yes, you could squeeze the first move, but over 2 or 3 attempts, you're going to power out so quickly. But if you keep your feet on, it's going to go much more smoothly. So look for the subtleties when you watch the climbers come through here. We see Sydney Park embarking on women's boulder number 1. And
David Trudeau sur le problème numéro 1, qui est un grimpeur local qui grimpe avec délire depuis plusieurs années.
And things are starting to heat up. So now we're on boulders 1, 2, and 3. Dylan and Molly are over on boulder number 3. And you see Becca there. A good look at how much more control she's in than we saw some of the other women previously. And she's got a little power to spare, able to cut feet and put them back on. Just want to get up to the zone here. There is a little sneaky heel toe. You can jam your foot once you move past here to stay secure.
Regardez les pieds, comment il faut placer les pieds de façon très, très précise avec le crochet d'orteil à gauche, le talon à droite. Il faut absolument garder au minimum un pied. Et vous avez vu, les 2 pieds ont décroché. C'est à ce moment-là que Becca a tombé du problème. Donc, c'est vraiment vrai, là, il faut garder les pieds au minimum un pied en tout temps pour rester accroché sur les prises.
And just saw the Dylan there at the tail end of that shot. Just missing. And we have Molly showing us what boulder number 3 is looking like. This boulder got quite a bit of attention from the route setters yesterday. We were sort of here at the end of the day while they were putting the boulders back up. They try them, they tweak them, they make little adjustments, they discuss. There's a big process in route setting. Ethan Hoffman securing the zone on boulder 2. And just trying to decide this next big green undercling. It's not that good. It's not a savior, right? You can't jump to it and swing out. It's actually quite slopey. And Sydney getting, I don't know if that's a bendy position. I was going to say hard to recover from being almost horizontal, but if you've got good hip mobility like Sydney here, less of a problem. You see some climbers climbing with masks on and some choosing not to. We are in the COVID protocol in the gym. Everybody is wearing masks in the crowd. The climbers are wearing masks. Just left foot from Sydney giving way. And the climbers have the choice to climb with their masks on, or they can take them off while they're on the boulder, and then they're back on when they're sitting in the chair. So, it's important as we try and have our competitions that we stay as safe as possible. David swinging around on the right.
Il doit tirer dans le talon maintenant pour réussir à contrôler les prises bleues.
Look at his left shoulder, inside out. It hurts just looking at it. That's a fun little. The foot switch is what to look for there on women's number 3. The move to that first white hold from the start is not as hard as it looks, but the foot movement is what really makes that one. Becca.
Là, le problème numéro 3 des hommes, ça va être quelque chose. Hein. Vraiment, là, il faut faire, en anglais, on dit double paddle. Donc, vraiment, plusieurs mouvements de main. Dans un seul mouvement, il y a un concentré de 5 mouvements différents. Donc, il faut passer les 2 mains et puis aller taper le pied. Alors que Sydney est allé chercher la zone.
Sydney looking down the top, and Molly also staring down. This move here on the women's boulder, I saw them talk about this. Can they get a sneaky drop knee? They moved that zone hold 3 or 4 times.
They changed it. It's considerably smaller right now.
Yes, than it was. No matching in there. David Trudeau with 25 seconds to go. This will be his last try. And just those crimps are really quite. First attempt, the crimps feel very good. Second attempt, the crimps feel not quite so good. Third attempt, the crimps start to feel really bad.
Ouais, ça démontre que Sébastien Lazure est sorti en force encore une fois, comme hier, sur le premier problème de sa journée. Très, très, très fort. Maintenant, est-ce qu'il va être capable de continuer sa performance?
Moi, je crois que oui.
On l'espère tous.
C'est Seb Lazure, en tout cas.
Oui.
Absolument. This year, we have a couple of little things to pay attention to. Last year's women's champion, Allison Vest, has moved down to Salt Lake City and has actually taken a break from competition climbing. So she is, in effect, in a light retirement. So Allison Vest will not be returning to defend her title. So we're going to see a new women's champion this year. And Sean McCall is back after a 2-year hiatus from Canadian Nationals. So you'll see him a little bit later. And you know that he is hunting for his 11th national championship. On the right here, we see Zach Richardson making decisions. As you say, that left heel, left toe, more important than maybe you would think. Zach Richardson.
Deuxième l'année dernière au championnat national. Donc, Zach veut essayer de s'améliorer. Revenir champion national. On se rappelle qu'il avait gagné une première édition déjà. Il a déjà été champion national. Là, il essaie de revenir sur le sommet du podium.
Leah Wachowski. Very nice footwork.
Et je crois
very nice.
This might be a flash.
I believe so. That little foot dance at the top, able to get the right toe out and stabilize. Seb Lazure on number 2, Riley Galloway staring at number 2. Seba in a bit of a hand jam, which is one of the ways to start this boulder. Just a little slow and careful.
Oh oui, le problème numéro 3, c'est réussi.
Yes, Finn has stuck the dyno across and is staring down. The last move, no joke.
Oh!
Wow. Finn Battersby succeeding on boulder number 3. That move looked a lot harder yesterday than he just made it look today.
Yeah.
And a good look at the angle. Zach fighting against. There, that's much better. He jumped up with almost no rest, so very quick to get back on. I think he knows it was more of a slip than anything. That's good decisions on a top from Zach Richardson.
Riley Galloway qui brosse les prises à cause que l'accumulation de la magnésie va faire glisser un peu. Donc, les prises sont recouvertes d'une texture un peu comme un papier sablé et les grimpeurs vont appliquer de la magnésie sur leurs mains pour enlever l'humidité, étant donné que l'humidité fait glisser les mains. Mais l'accumulation de la magnésie fait quand même son travail et à un moment donné, il n'y a plus de friction. Donc, il faut brosser la magnésie.
It's a delicate balance getting just the right amount of chalk, the right amount of friction. See Riley here with good heels just to maintain tension in here. And oh, wow, that's a good. There's a little tiny jib, very small hold where she just matched her hands there. It's a little bit of help, but not a lot of help.
Ouais, Riley, l'année passée, qui a terminé 2e des championnats nationaux chez les jeunes catégorie A. Maintenant, elle est chez les catégories seniors, donc voilà. Elle essaie de continuer sur sa lancée.
You see Erica looking a little disappointed. Boulders with a hard first move, a coordination first move, where you try it 4 or 5 times before getting any success. It wears on your confidence a little bit as well. So you see here, she was just looking a bit dejected at just not getting the footwork right. Seb Lazure, just 1 minute left. Staring at this undercling. Just trying to find the right body position. It is awkward. And Erica.
Sur un problème de coordination, Erika qui est très très forte physiquement au niveau des épaules et au niveau des doigts. Par contre, la coordination, c'est quelque chose qu'elle travaille beaucoup avec son coach, son entraîneur chez Aléop, Philippe Bourdon. Donc, elle doit continuer à travailler les mouvements de coordination, étant donné que ce n'est pas sa force. Et on le voit bien ici sur le problème numéro 3.
Yeah, and it's the job of with 20. She really wants to get this zone. So with 25 seconds, it's worth the energy for her.
Oui.
Oh, and she does.
Oh non!
No, a little slip.
Elle s'est empressée et malheureusement a glissé du pied.
Just a bit. You want to climb quickly when the clock is running down, but that's when most of the mistakes happen. So the coordination aspect is something that is always evolving, and athletes will definitely have their favorite styles. Some people love coordination movements. Some people absolutely prefer to just grab holds and pull up and down on them.
Et encore une fois, ce qui est difficile, comme tu le disais un peu plus tôt, Pete, c'est qu'il faut réussir à faire la coordination et comprendre la coordination du mouvement en 5 minutes.
En 5 minutes. Yeah, it's one thing to work out a coordination move over the span of an entire working session with 20 or 30 tries to get the subtleties right. It's quite another to, in 5 minutes, realize, am I going far enough? Am I pushing hard enough? Am I switching my feet? Am I trying to match? There's so many options, and you have to make a decision. You have to stick with it, and then you either have to adapt that decision or you just have to try harder. There's only so many different variations that you have in 5 minutes. So you want to be quick at decision making. On the left, we have Dylan Lay on the balance boulder for the men, so they get their slab at the end of the round. Sydney Park here looking quite good on her first try.
Attention maintenant, les pieds doivent rester.
So I like that heel hook. That's a good decision so far. And then on your left, Molly Dreher just getting into the start position and then out. This is as we were a pretty straightforward boulder in terms of decision making.
A bit of an awkward start, though.
Yeah, and not great holds. So pretty slopey. Let's see if she gets untwisted here.
Et Dylan Lee sur le problème numéro 4 des hommes. Et je peux vous dire que les pieds, on a rajouté des petits pieds et sont pratiquement 100% du Duotex, les petits pieds. Donc, c'est extrêmement difficile.
And a good look at the last move from Ethan. And David Trudeau. And Becca Frango's getting close to the last move.
Hey.
Oh, David into the undercling. Yes, it's not over. Le dernier mouvement, c'est difficile, Frank.
Oui, et pour aller matcher la dernière prise, pour aller mettre les deux mains sur la dernière prise, c'est extrêmement dur avec le genou, knee bar, et c'est fait.
David Trudeau in the hometown crowd gets a big round of applause for doing boulder number 2. Well deserved. Nice piece of climbing. Now you see Kinhwa Lei on boulder number 1. Just getting into the crimps. Staring down at his fingertips. You'll see a lot of that over this round. Climbers generally look at their feet, their fingertips, or their holds, and they always look a little bit like someone has done them wrong.
Dylan qui doit maintenant essayer de transférer son poids sur ce volume vraiment incliné.
Really nice balance from Dylan. And still gentle here. You have to put quite a bit of power into that left while not unwinding. So a delicate finish on a delicate boulder. And on your right, Molly just missing that first big yellow over the break.
Ouf.
Oh!
Hey, c'est une position tellement inconfortable.
Oui.
Zoé Beauchemin, on l'a vu
Brièvement
sur le problème numéro 1.
Becca Frango's also trying to go.
Oh, wow! Oh!
So that the drop knee, so the left foot she put up behind creates a little bit more of an explosive position, maybe harder to hold the swing from. We'll see if she sticks with that, if she gives it one more try. Kin trying to decide. You have a decision to make on that boulder. Do you go to the good crimp to establish the second one, or do you want the good crimp to be able to move to the finish? So decisions to be made on that boulder. Dylan getting back up.
Ouais, mais là, avec 35 secondes, puis sur un problème où on doit bouger très tranquillement, souvent, on va essayer de se presser. C'est là qu'on va tomber. C'est vraiment un problème qu'on doit faire de façon très méthodique. Lorsqu'on essaie de se presser, vous avez vu son pied droit qui a glissé donc sur la petite prise du Duotex.
And if you're not familiar with the term dual texture or dual tex, most climbing holds have quite a lot of friction on them. That's because it allows us to grab them. Root setters and hold shapers over the last decade have been creating holds in which one or more surfaces of the hold will be very shiny. So think more like a plexiglass almost no texture at all, and in fact, quite slippery. So you can't quite see them. We'll get a better look at them in a little bit. On that green volume on that men's boulder, there are two little green footholds that are almost exclusively in dual texture. A tiny bit of friction. It's hard to find, and as you're moving through, it's very easy to slip off of. So that will prove to be one of the cruxes of that boulder is, can you keep your feet where they need to be, stuck to the holds? Leah here, just getting off the ground. Almost 30 seconds to read the boulder is in the average. Sometimes maybe you'll see them take a minute if it's really complex, but this boulder, fairly straightforward.
Ouais, la plupart du temps, les meilleurs grimpeurs, les plus forts, vont prendre jusqu'à 1 minute pour étudier le problème, étant donné qu'ils sont forts. Ils savent que pour pouvoir bien gagner les championnats, ça va se battre sur le nombre d'essais.
Exactly.
Donc, ils mettent toutes leurs chances pour bien lire tout ce qu'on peut voir pour essayer de réussir le top en un seul essai.
And that's what we're seeing here. Leah just crushing through these volumes. Lots of options for how you, like, when you're grabbing corners of volumes, you can go sort of pinky up, pinky down. There's lots of choices. She's pinching here. Oh, and I think just lost a little bit of tension. Came up very, very close to the finish of that boulder.
And she was climbing for about one full minute.
Minutes.
So she'll need a mega rest right now in order to be able to succeed on her second try.
And it's so hard to sit on the mat watching the clock run down, knowing that if you give yourself enough time for one try and you slip,
It's over.
Should you leave yourself a second try? Talking to a couple of the climbers in the U.S. Just a week ago, and they were saying a minute and a half is the worst time. If you have a minute and a half left, do you give yourself enough time for 2 tries, or do you let the clock run down for 1 try? So with 3 minutes, she's probably going to give herself 2 tries. You see Finn just delicately making that crossover move. You see no handholds. There's no hidden holds on the slab here. He's and it doesn't take much. A light breeze will push you off balance.
He just put his hand in his chalk bag, and that put him off balance, and he was off the wall.
Just like that. Zach Richardson looked good on his first try on this boulder. Gave himself a pretty good rest, almost a minute. As we see here,
Babette Roy.
Babette Roy qui réussit la bloc première. A couple of tries for sure. With 2 minutes to go, I'm sure she tried the start of that boulder a couple of times. And again, Finn, this one not super powerful, so you don't need a lot of time on the mat. You fall off, you jump back on. But just here, looking at balance, and you see, just fighting. It gets harder and harder. The volumes here are not really the wall angle changes there, and what he's standing on with his left foot is almost vertical. You're not getting to push down into the ground when you climb on slab like that. See Riley Galloway trying to sort of out-muscle the first move of that boulder.
On voit bien ici les 2 petits pieds verts qui ont été vissés sur le volume vert à droite de l'écran. C'est sur ces 2 pieds qui sont complètement dépourvus de texture qu'il faut essayer de manœuvrer.
Jackson McDonald approaching the finish. So we've seen some tops that from the semifinal, just because they came in 20th place doesn't mean that they snuck into the semifinal. So there's always this moment at the start of a round where a couple of boulders get topped, and there's a sweaty palms. Wait a minute, our 20 climbers going to top 4 boulders? And then you see as we get through, people fall everywhere. So you'll see some people get a boulder in their style, and then you see some people later on in the round unable to do a boulder that 2 or 3 people did at the beginning and looked so delicate.
Ah, les pieds qui tremblent.
Yeah.
Tellement de tension, tellement de tension. C'est très, très, très insécure, ce problème numéro 4.
Zach Richardson now in the now he's into the desperation choices. A toe on that purple pinch.
Yeah, I think
Jackson.
I think that's the zone when you go really hard, and we call that the tunnel vision, and you're just completely desperate and try to find your way to put your feet.
Anything goes at that point.
Yeah.
And, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. So came up a little bit shy. Jackson McDonald also a little bit shy. A lot of BC represented here. We used to say we had the BC Bouldering Army. We've tempered that a little bit with some East climbers. As we say, with the best representation we've had at a Nationals ever. All 8 provinces. There's climbers here from all the way out on the East Coast of Newfoundland. Almost a perfect split. 76 men, 74 women out of 150 athletes. So a really, really good representation for this Canadian Nationals. Long overdue, some would say. People have been itching to get out and compete. Becca Frangos coming through on boulder number 4, and we've seen a few different options. We've seen climbers go up into the corner. Becca just electing to go strong for the first move of this boulder.
Yeah, she got strong fingers, so that's definitely the way she wants to climb that one. Zoe Beauchemin on the right side.
Little clever toe hook. And now we see Nathan Smith. Big Smitty. Making good work of boulder number 1. He is when Nathan is climbing well, not a lot of boulders turn him away.
No, second at National Championship in 2019 behind Zach Richardson. Now, pandemic was a bit hard. Couldn't train as much as he maybe wanted, and he's trying to get back in shape right now and trying to get back on the top of the podium.
On your right, we see Chloe Earl. Just the little thumb undercling, the thumb-der-cling. Nobody's really used it yet. It's a really bad hold. And on your left, Ethan Hoffman just looking like he might get this body position correct. That heel hook is so tenuous.
Wow.
And he's going to hold it really good climbing. Ethan Hoffman, I think he'll be happy with his round, although he looks disappointed. Obviously, you always want a top 4 boulders in your round. Doesn't always go that way. But I think a good finish. I don't know that boulder's going to get a lot of tops.
Well, he's got 3 tops, so he's in okay position. You know, out of 4 boulders, 3 tops.
Yeah.
C'est pas si mal.
Yeah. And it's so hard to get inside their heads. I mean, he sent the last boulder and came off looking a little disappointed. So maybe he thinks he could have done the 4th boulder. Maybe he's worried that if he thinks they're a bit undercooked or a little bit on the easier side of the field. If you're in a round where you need 4 tops to get into the final and you don't get them, that can be weighing on his mind perhaps. You'll see a little bit of everything. I think it's important. There's a lot of people staring at boulders right now. The route setters are putting boulders up, as we were saying at the opening of the show. Their job is to create separation from the athletes. So they need them to miss, they need them to slip, they need them to take multiple attempts to climb boulders. You sometimes see a semifinal round where 2 tops is all you need out of 4 to get into a final, and you sometimes see a semifinal round where 4 tops will get you into a final. And the pressure is different. Becca here making use of the foothold to establish body position.
Wow.
And then this move to the zone, it's very powerful. You think maybe there's a heel hook. You see she's very stretched out. Sydney missing the last move. But the pressure is different. If the pressure is I have to do all 4 boulders, then every slip weighs on your mind. If you don't top a boulder, you have to carry that into the next one, and then it can compound itself quite quickly. And when you have a round where the boulders are very, very difficult, you need to be the pressure of I have to do 2 boulders, and you're faced with something that's very difficult. So it's always interesting to see how that plays out. And you see what it takes and what the climbers, they don't know what's happening. They don't know what's come before. They won't know until they're watching the scores go up later. So in the moment, climbers can look very disappointed while being securely in a finals position.
Yeah, in finals, they kind of have a sense of what's going on because even though
Becca Frangos making the dead point, footless here.
Ooh,
matching, still no feet.
Oh, she go get the little crimp with the left feet.
Yes.
Oh, it's just take it.
Becca Frangos looking very much like she's going to top boulder number 4. Oh, Frank with 15 seconds left. I don't think she's going to have, and she's still lying on the mat. Becca Frangos emptied the tank and came within 1/2 a hand of topping that boulder. Ooh, jeez. Sydney Park, you see there just at the buzzer. swinging out of the finish hold on boulder number 3. Things are starting to heat up a little bit in here. The crowd is getting into it. If you're just joining us, if you got up a little bit late, if you're maybe farther onto the West Coast, P. Woods here with Frank Perizien. We are at the 2021 Senior Boulder Nationals. We're in Quebec City, Delisle Sainte-Foy. Wonderful gym here, Frank. Purposely built for bouldering. The angles here are fantastic. Really, really good route setting. We saw excellent route setting yesterday. We saw lots of good climbing yesterday. And now we are just getting into the meat of the field here in our semifinal.
Yeah, and sadly for Becca, she needed that stop. Huh? She's already in 6th place, so it's going to be a little bit difficult for her to get in finals. It's a bit sad.
Yeah, so a good fight at the end, but it is not going to get much farther than that. Jackson McDonald here. And you see Madison Fisher on the left side of your screen. That's her first boulder. Jackson getting stretched out. Pretty lanky climber. A little bit easier on a compression style boulder like that to have that tiny little bit of extra reach.
Well, I think she's going to be able to reach that one. A little bit taller for Madison.
Yep. And really confident in her feet to be able to extend out like that. Babette Dubois on your right also has been, we watch climbers on their social media and the training that they've been going through, and it has been hard to train. And you see there her right foot that she's cammed, the heel and the toe are jammed in the space between those two volumes, and that allows her to hold tension. Meanwhile, Brennan Doyle topping boulder 1. And it's looking like Babette.
Oh oui!
Yes! Babette Roy.
Avec le sourire en plus.
Yeah.
Contente.
Oui, absolument contente. Just barely stuck the finish hold and managed to hang on. That shows you the hand strength that she's got going on right now to be able to swing out like that, control it, squeeze, and then make that match. Really, really good work.
Ouais, et Babette Roy qui a fait un énorme travail pendant la pandémie. Je crois qu'elle n'a jamais été aussi forte. Ses meilleurs résultats sur ses dead hangs, ses meilleurs résultats sur ses pull-up lestés. C'est cette année qu'elle les a fait. Donc, elle sait, elle est en forme. Et Lia qui est en train de finir le problème numéro 3.
That is our first top, I believe, on boulder number 3. Leah Witkowski with a thumbs up from the judge. I absolutely topped that boulder, yes. Thank you for confirming. And we get a good look at this coordination move. 1, 2, 3.
Oh, oui!
Yes, good save. Zach Richardson. And the final.
Oh, no!
Just missed that left palm. You see how important every piece of the coordination is. The finish hold is not good enough.
Mais avec 2 minutes à faire, je crois que Zach va être en mesure de réussir ce problème.
You see Jackson a little bit gassed after his first couple of tries. Just getting ready to get back into the fight. Tiny mistake. Just need to recompose. Seb Lazure here on your left, Riley Galloway. Seb gently moving across.
Maintenant, ça va être intéressant de voir avec sa blessure à sa cheville due à son accident. Ça va être intéressant s'il est capable de baisser la cheville. Autant on sait que lorsqu'on se blesse à la cheville, on perd de la mobilité. Et lorsqu'on est dans un problème qui est une slab, on doit vraiment baisser les talons le plus possible. Donc ça va être intéressant de voir si Sébastien a regagné sa mobilité. Revoici Zach. Oh, statique!
Oh, statique!
No!
Zach Richardson, one of the taller competitors, got a heel under the volume and did the last move statically. I wish I could see the route setters from here. I don't know that they saw that. They see most options. They tried lots of things yesterday, but static to finish from Zach Richardson. That is a nice piece of climbing, a nice way to unlock the finish of that boulder.
Smart.
Yeah, very smart. Riley Galloway getting all over to the left.
Creative as well with her feet. Look at that.
This will be the last try, I think, from Jackson. Oh, maybe. That slip. A quick look at the clock and powered out. Even just from that one try, he got up through the middle of the boulder. Seb is going to give it one more. 20 seconds to go. Last boulder, nothing to save your energy for. It's worth it to throw every single try.
Ouais, il veut la zone.
Oui, absolument la zone ici. But no, just too much momentum. He had to go a little bit slower. A shrug from Seb Lazure. First competition back post-injury. Remember at 2019 or 2020 Nationals, he was sick with food poisoning in the final, unable to compete. He was maybe at that point favored to be on the podium and just unable to climb. So, Seb, coming back from injury is maybe one of the hardest things. You never know how strong you are in competition. You might feel really good on the hangboard. You might feel really good in your home gym, but you sometimes have to get rid of some of the cobwebs. I know that he was excited to come out and be in enough shape to compete. I know he decided quite late. He's what the heck? I'll just go to Canadian Nationals. And when you've got the pedigree of Seb Lasure, you're able to decide last minute and put in a good showing. Making the semifinal is always a really, really good showing at a national championship. Sydney just right away into this boulder.
Mm-hmm. It's pretty straightforward.
However,
the start is a bit awkward, huh?
Yeah, and she's maybe kind of climbing herself around the wrong way. We see Sam Tukuvara.
En très grande forme, hein? Sam, je l'ai vu récemment à Montréal dans d'autres compétitions qu'il a réussi à bien performer. Donc, il est en grande forme, il le sait. Il est très, très fort des doigts en ce moment. Il essaie de trouver sa position. Malheureusement, perdu peut-être un peu trop de temps.
David Trudeau à gauche ici, sur la dernière bloc.
Nathan Smith.
And I mean, that should tell you, Nathan Smith is one of the more powerful climbers in this round.
Mm-hmm.
David Trudeau, a very good slab climber.
Oui, très délicat.
He's been very measured. Has been climbing very well for years. A little bit shy on results, but every time I see him compete, he looks good. He looks like he climbs, very, very calmly, very comfortably, in a lot of control. Here, the delicate finish. David Trudeau réussit la bloc numéro 4.
Content. Je crois qu'il a fait la meilleure ronde qu'il pouvait faire. Hein,
ouais.
Pour David Trudeau, c'est une très belle performance pour lui.
Chloe Earl there, staring at her boulder. And Kaya Taylor-Ainsley just tipping into the start of this one. We've seen a few different variations of the beginning of this boulder. Feet first, hands first, and then a little mouvement électrique. And that's good control from Kaya. It looks like she's going to go en fait dynamique pour la dernière prise.
Elle doit lever.
Oh, and
à deux mains. Oh, elle tient! En force de doigt, c'est sûr.
Deux doigts pour finir la bloc.
Wow, wow, wow.
And a lot of core tension. So being able to hold that swing, Frank, with two fingers, there are no other feet in that movement. That is really, really good climbing right just when it matters the most. Sydney Park unlocking the beginning of this boulder. And you see...
Fortin avec l'épaule.
Yeah. But you see how stretched out this move is, the feet? Mm-hmm. This is nice that...
Oof.
And just let go. That pinch between her two toes.
Ouais, ça s'appelle une bicyclette. Donc, you bicycle, putting your feet on top of each other and then pressing against so you can squeeze the hole in between.
Mm-hmm. The push and pull is something that is part of almost all climbing. Is there's a balance between how much you can squeeze. Are you pushing and pulling together? Sometimes you just need to pull, so all of that balance. And it's not just what you're doing from the shoulders up. Climbing has evolved so much in competition.
Sam ici a pris un très, très, très long repos et a décidé de repartir le bloc alors que on voit Zoé Beauchemin qui réussit le bloc numéro 3. Donc Sam a pris un très long repos. Malheureusement, on dirait qu'il a de la difficulté à rester collé sur le bloc, lui qui semblait quand même assez à l'aise lors de son premier essai.
Oui. Just not able to hold the tension, I think, in his foot to keep that body position. Oh! Smith with the stick on the undercling, and can he match? Yes.
Avec 15 secondes,
15
Pete.
secondes. Nathan Smith, excited.
Persévérant.
Oui.
Oui, Sydney Park qui a réussi finalement à progresser. Maintenant, va être capable
de... Not enough time. once that time hits 0, it's over. It doesn't matter if you have one hand on the finish. If that's 0, no top. So you have to be in control, established. Sydney Park getting obviously rushing, knowing the clock is ticking down, but not quite being able to make that match on the last boulder, which is turned away so far every attempt.
Looks like Madison Fisher's getting ready to get on problem number 2. That's going to be interesting. She's one of the most powerful girls in this field this morning.
Zach Richardson. And Leah here.
Leah's doing good right now. She's leading.
Yeah, she's putting in an inspired performance. Really, really good. 2 tops so far.
Yeah, obviously Babette Roy is following her, so she's one problem late. So we could almost say that they're equal, almost.
And then our first look here at Kinder McNamee. And just on your left, good catch from Kinder. Very powerful climber.
Allez, il doit tirer dans le talon maintenant pour rester collé aux prises. Les changements de pied, c'est là qu'on a vu les coureurs se mettre dans des positions un peu plus difficiles.
Yeah, I think left foot is better here.
Oui, c'est ce que j'allais dire. Là, il vient de le réaliser, donc là, il essaie de changer, mais en changeant le pied, c'était trop tard. Alors que Zach Richardson est en train de terminer avec la slab, le numéro 4.
Yes, look at that right leg shaking. I mean, it might look composed, but I promise you there's a lot of prayer going into that right foot for Zach Richardson on the top of that boulder.
Ah, ça fait peur, hein? Tellement insécure.
Amy Takashiba making the move of faith. And Leah here, a little really interesting footwork to stay stuck to the wall and also electing to go, trying to go with the bicycle.
Oh, she's pinching the volume to stay in, and she just need to get it.
Oh, finger, and you see her thumb pressing up.
Wow.
Again, the foot switch, we saw that earlier. Successful foot switch, I think, from Erica.
Somebody give me a chuck bag.
Yeah, that was
sweaty palms.
A little bit dicey at the finish, causing the climbers to get stretched out. Kinder winding up for attempt number 2. Didn't spend a lot of time on the mat thinking about it.
I think he knows that he had a bad foot placement, so he's going to readjust and should be able to succeed on that one.
That's one of those choices where it's harder to do this move with your left foot on, but easier to do the finish move, and you can't afford the foot switch. So you have to make a decision to make one of the moves more difficult because it makes the next move easier. It can be hard to make that decision because in the moment you're like, well, what if I don't stick this move again? So interesting to see if he goes back, having now been unsuccessful with the match. Maybe he's going to go back to his original beta, right foot, and then switch left foot.
Yeah, and he seemed a little bit gassed out there. Huh? So maybe he should have rested a little bit more, risking maybe also not succeeding on with only one more attempt. But it looks like he was a little bit gassed, needed a little bit more rest.
Yep. On a good stick from Jackson. Here we see a good look at the last move. Really well done, Jackson McDonald. A few of the men have read that boulder very, very well. Madison Fisher in the middle, Kinder on the right. So he is going to go.
Once again, Kinder with a short rest.
Yeah. And there is a moment of a panic maybe that sets in on your first boulder where you think, wait a minute. I need to get another try.
Ouais, surtout qu'il était tellement proche de réussir, donc il sait qu'il a la force physique. Maintenant, il est peut-être un peu trop impatient.
Brennan Doyle and Madison Fisher both on zone holds. Madison finding that right foot kind of jam between the volumes. And Leah on the right of your screen, 30 seconds. This is a good stick, Madison Fisher.
Yeah, the heel toe cam really helping her here.
Leah is going to run out of time and gas. And Madison, you see that everything in this. And then a half a hand width. Kinder also not going to be successful. He managed to give it one more try. That's, the men's boulders here go powerful back to back. So they go powerful boulder, powerful boulder. I'll be curious if the extra tries from Kinder on boulder 1 have a detrimental effect on the rest of his round.
Oui.
We shall see.
C'est la tactique, hein? C'est là qu'il faut vraiment décider à quel moment on veut persister, à quel moment on lâche prise pour préserver notre énergie pour le prochain problème.
Yes.
5 minutes de repos, c'est pas long.
Non.
5 minutes pour réussir un problème, c'est pas
pas
long.
long, non.
Mais 5 minutes de repos aussi, c'est pas long.
There's a battle internally with the clock management, and it's one of the things that competitive climbers, if you've never been, if you've never competed, maybe you've just watched a few, one of the things you need to put into your training program is time management. So you have to fight the desire to jump on and try the boulder over and over and over again, and you have to know how long it takes to try the boulder, and then you have to make these decisions on the clock. What are you going to do in the first minute, second minute, third minute, fourth minute? So it's a huge piece of competition strategy to understand level of effort to go along with clock management, to go along with am I making the right decisions. Here we see Zoe Beauchemin keeping her feet very low
Ouais,
to make this first move to the crimp. And it'll be
croiser les mains.
wow. So we've seen none of that before, and also Sam electing to try and press. I don't think that's going to be successful. Maybe worth one try, but I would be surprised if that works for him.
Allez, Zoé.
Il va sauter.
Non, ça glisse, hein, et on nous expliquait hier, les ouvrants nous ont dit que les prises jaunes, la texture, elle n'est pas si bonne, la texture sur les prises.
There's varying degrees of friction across different hold manufacturers and different pores of their holds. So some, Sean Faulkner,
Nice save.
good save. You know he would have suddenly had to squeeze very hard on the left hand, but
Moi, ça
no
veut seulement
stress.
dire qu'il a de la marge. Hein? Il a la marge pour réussir à se corriger.
Smith here looking at the options for the finish. I mean, he's deciding what to do. I don't know if he doesn't see it or he just doesn't like it.
Oui, c'est comme si il avait une idée en tête avant de partir le bloc, mais une fois sur le bloc, son idée est complètement différente. Donc là, il se pose des questions un peu. Il va devoir sauter.
And he's going to go from the undercling, not using the zone hold, the blue hold on the blue volume. But as you say, looked like he might have had an idea on the mat, and he pulled up in, and you realize how far away the move actually is. The angles can trick you a bit. Again, it's hard to see it at home, but boulders from the ground often look like the reach will be easier. And then when you get into the position, as your hips and your gravity pulls you away, the moves feel a lot longer. And you see that here on this women's boulder, that if you're kind of falling away a bit in your lower body, the moves become very long and a little bit desperate. And if you can be a little bit closer and tighter, then the moves feel a lot shorter. So it's a combination of so many things to decide what you want your beta to be. And then execution plays a part as well. So very interesting to see what Smith will do next try on that boulder. Is he going to solve something new? Kinwale here just taking that last step and too far out into the void.
Alors, revoici Nathan Smith.
This time undercling. Yes. So changing his beta to as intended by the root setters, but now the move itself is difficult enough, enfin. Des fois, c'est comme le bloc, c'est pas complexe pour un problème, mais c'est juste tellement difficile pour l'exécuter.
Oui, exactement. Des fois, on doit changer d'idée aussi, on doit réadapter le bêta et c'est vraiment la méthode qui change sur l'instant et des fois, on se pousse à l'erreur. Hein? Des fois, on change la méthode qu'on voulait faire et on y revient parfois.
So Sam here, we'll get another look at his decision making.
Voyons voir s'il va essayer encore d'y retourner en épaule.
No, and then as we've seen on a lot of the earlier competitors, readjusting the feet there proving to be a huge problem. Nathan Smith with less than 20 seconds on the clock, getting up boulder number 3, and we heard the shout from here through our headphones.
Ouais, Nathan Smith qui a 3 tops maintenant.
Yeah, all at the end of his 5 minutes. 3 tops from Nathan through 3 boulders. Zoe Beauchemin, Kinwale are going to walk away unsuccessful on boulders number 4. So we're looking for a top on boulder number 4 for the women. Ethan and Zach have topped boulder number 4 for the men. Nathan Smith now putting himself in good position to take over the top spot if he can finish the last boulder.
Et Hoffman et Richardson, ils n'ont pas réussi à faire le problème numéro 2, alors que Nathan Smith, lui, a réussi à faire le problème numéro 2. Ça veut donc dire que Nathan Smith a la chance de prendre la tête du classement sur le dernier bloc.
This is what starts to happen if you're keeping your eye on the live results page. They will it will shuffle and move as each climber comes through doing their boulders. So right now on the top of the women's field, Babette Lois with 3 tops out of 3 boulders. Leah Wachowski with 2 out of her 4. Chloe also with 2. And then a few climbers with room. Madison Fisher on her 3rd boulder has a little bit of room here still. Only been unsuccessful on boulder number 2. So you keep your eye. Lots happens in 4 boulders. You see Kinder McNamee.
Et encore une fois, les meilleurs grimpeurs, les grimpeurs les mieux classés lors des qualifications vont sortir en dernier. Donc, c'est pas fini.
No, pas du tout. Kinder McNamee quickly up into the zone.
That left foot looks hard.
It's so bad. Madison Fisher making the coordination move. And you see Babette Lois on your right. Are we going to see? Not this time. But Madison,
Ah oui.
perfectly executed
Ouais.
boulder number 3.
A arrêté la porte de grange avec sa main droite et c'est réussi ici chez les
Brendan
hommes sur le
Doyle.
problème.
Making pretty quick work of that, Brendan Doyle. And Marie-Michel Thibault, l'Italien.
Grosse surprise hier pour Marie-Michel. Marie-Michel qui s'est entraînée extrêmement fort pendant la pandémie et n'avait pas trop de résultats au niveau national jusqu'à maintenant. Elle a réussi à faire 3e au championnat québécois il y a environ 2 semaines. Donc là, elle est en grande forme, elle est confiante et ça paraissait hier dans sa performance. Elle grimpait avec vraiment une très, très grande confiance.
And you see here, just taking the balance, that left thumb, enough to readjust, and a foot switch. Very careful climbing from Marie-Michel. Great way to start off your semifinal, as you say, after putting together a very good qualifying round yesterday. Kinder McNamee, a good look at that right-hand pinch that saps so much energy, Frank, to pinching like that in the steep angles. Babette Lois, that toe hook. Really nice climbing to hang that toe for that long.
Oui, vraiment une très grande tension au niveau du corps. Maintenant, elle doit s'élancer.
Campus, left foot, Babette Lois. That left foot is so bad.
Oh!
Frank, so hard to generate momentum off a foothold. And remember, it's tucked under a big volume. You don't get the angle you want. The finish move on that boulder is proving to be very, very spicy.
I wonder if somebody's going to try to use a heel hook instead of that little foothold.
I think with the climbers that are coming from here to the end of the round, we might see some very interesting variations. A lot of creative climbers. The top of the field is poised to come in here. We're down into about 6 climbers. The top 6 climbers have yet to take the stage, so that is in the field of who we expect to make the final. So you're going to see some very, very good execution.
It's funny because on problem number 4 last night when we came and we looked at it, we thought this looks like the easiest one. Yet we don't have a top on that boulder.
And we don't
so
have
far.
a top.
Yeah.
And we were assured that the boulder was very difficult, and we were assured one of the route setters, and they're all fantastic climbers, and if Coco thinks it's hard, it's hard. And we are seeing that for sure. Worth mentioning, there are 2 female route setters, 2 women setting on the Nationals crew. This is the first time we've had a National set with 2 women
Oui,
on the crew.
Corinne Barry et Guy Saint-Jacques.
Very, very good route setters. Babette Lois, Campus. Look at that. Watch the left foot. Able to maintain tension.
Wow!
Babette Lois, very, very happy.
Écoute, je crois qu'elle va en finale. 4 top.
4 top. Jackson McDonald, a little bit different. You see him just tension. That left toe is just squeezing the boulder.
Avec 2 secondes.
2 secondes.
Wow.
And calmly with 2 secondes.
Maybe he didn't know.
Maybe, exactly. Maybe he didn't know. He was not moving like someone who knew the clock had no seconds left. That is as close as you can possibly get to finishing a boulder. We are now about to see on the men's side, Guy McNamee, your current national champion.
Let's see if he can hold on it at all. And that's Jane Cuff. Jane Cuff, who did a pretty good qualification yesterday.
Yep.
Surprisingly, 11 at the Ontarian Championship recently.
And it's always fun to see climbers who maybe haven't competed a lot in the past, who have just decided a bit maybe later on in their, we're so used to seeing youth climbers progress through and into open climbing. Every now and then you just see climbers who you don't see a lot of results. They don't compete a lot, and then obviously very strong and climbing very, very well yesterday. So you would be mistaken to think that because you have not had a result in the past that you were lucky in some way to make a semifinal here. And you see Jacqueline Ho making very quick work of Boulder 1. Everybody that's in the final, no one snuck in, and no one sneaks in the top 10 of the semifinal. So Jane Cuff yesterday climbed very well.
Yes.
We'll see what she can put down today.
Elle est originaire du Newfoundland et maintenant vit à temps plein en Ontario. Sam Tiukuvara qui essaie de trouver la solution sur le problème numéro 3. Alors qu'on voit ici Nathan Smith qui a réussi 3 tops jusqu'à maintenant. Voyons voir qu'est-ce qu'il va faire sur le problème numéro 4.
And he might be feeling the confidence of 3 tops so far. A little bit inspired here, but have to calm down on this boulder. You can't be too excited. You see him there. He knows that he was just moving maybe too quickly.
Très bon en slab, Nathan Smith. Donc, normalement, c'est un problème qui devrait être capable de faire. Et je crois qu'il a même sécurisé la zone lors de son premier essai.
Sean Faulkner on your right and Chloe Earl embarking on the start of boulder number 4.
Try fire.
The sudden removal from a boulder
Oui.
that you don't even expect.
On décroche de la prise avec les doigts. C'est quand les doigts, on pèse sur la prise le plus fort possible. Les doigts glissent sans qu'on s'en attende. Ça s'appelle un dry fire.
And Guy, just seeing Guy there, that's the second time he's come off those crimps. So I wonder if, a little bit of nerves at play perhaps. And Nathan, you see, reaching a little bit. Maybe not so patient to bring his center of gravity through and just trying to get to those tantalizing little crimps that don't do as much. So close. Kaya there, inches away from topping that boulder. Or I speak too quickly. Inches away from sticking the last hold with one hand. You know, we have seen a couple of the climbers get close but still not able to match. So difficult to start that boulder, difficult to finish. Chloe spinning out of the move to the crimp. Just seeing Sean here with a minute to go. You hear the whistle echoing in your mind when you pull on the boulder with 1 minute left. Sean Faulkner, you see the effort in his face into the undercling. And
à deux mains.
Deux mains. Not quite deep enough. It's as we said, you can't stick that move and have your feet come off. As we watch Guy,
A little bit desperate here for Guy.
he does look it. And then Jane on the left. I just got a text from Dustin Curtis. He said she's a setter on his crew and is just crazy strong.
Wow.
So a little bit of love from the Dustin for Jane. Did she skip She went straight to the zone.
Looks
That's
like
the first time we've seen that. She was unable to stick the move to the yellow sloper.
Yeah.
Skipped it and established the zone right at the last minute. So we'll see if that becomes important. Chloe Earl with 2 tops and a zone. I don't know that that's going to do it as this field pushes through. Interesting. It'll be interesting to see it play out. As we mentioned, if you didn't hear us earlier on the broadcast, the scores are updating live. So you can go to the CEC Climbing Escalade Canada website, or you can go to their Instagram, to their link tree, and get to the results page. There's an event central. There's lots of ways to get here. cec.results.info if you just want to go straight to your browser. And we are essentially live results. So as people are finishing boulders, within a minute or so, their scores are coming in. So you can follow along, see where we're at. We'll try and keep you updated as we go. Some exciting things happening.
Un peu trop.
Not quite enough for Brendan Doyle.
Oui.
And then you see
Sean.
Sean McCall.
Sean McCall, who's on problem number 1 with Paige.
And
Buklachuk.
and a little shake of the head and a little look at the fingertips. So maybe just a lack of focus to come off of those crimps, he's thinking, rather than a lack of strength. Sean McCall never lacking in the ability to grab a crimp and pull down on it.
Madison Fisher on her last problem for semi. Et Marie-Michel, l'Italien, sur le problème numéro 2, un problème de force. Normalement, Marie-Michel, c'est ce type de boulder, de problème qu'elle aime faire. Elle est très forte au niveau des épaules.
It's Madison just trying to hold that. You see how bad that right hand is.
Wow! Les pieds qui décrochent et quand même ça tient.
Really good contact strength, so the ability to just stick with friction on a boulder. Madison Fisher, that is a really, really good showing to be able to stay on that boulder.
Paige Buklachuk qui essaie de compléter le problème numéro 1.
Making it a first decision here to go up left hand to that thumb undercling, seeing if that's going to work. And then on boulder number 3, Amy Takashiba. Paige tries to go. Oh, makes the foot switch work.
That was smooth.
And holds it with a smear on the right-hand side. So good climbing from Paige.
McCall sur le problème numéro 1.
A quick adjustment in body position there, and no mistake second time. So that is a good adjustment from your very, very experienced Sean McCall. And Marie-Michel getting through so many different movements required to do this boulder. Every hand movement requires a foot movement. Every foot movement is delicate. It is a lot of climbing. I think that's my favorite boulder of the round for the women. I think because it just looks like a big burly compression boulder, but when you really break it down, the subtleties on it are becoming very interesting, and it is a lot of work to switch the feet and switch the hands over and over and over. So it's taking them a long time to climb the boulder. As you see Kinder McNamee seeing if he can go
statically.
Just crazy.
What? He's matching that volume.
Look at that left hand. That is
that was intense.
That's the word. I think he was close enough that he might try that again. Amy Takashiba not quite getting the right hand down in time. Matthew Rodriguez. I saw just as we were panning by Sean, he was upside down on the start of that boulder, so he's quickly removed that from his options. And with 1 minute to go on the zone, and Brendan Doyle just so delicate.
Marie-Michel qui a pris un très long repos, c'est donc un gros essai. Je crois que la clé ici pour avoir un succès sur ce bloc, c'est vraiment le heel toe cam, qu'on doit venir coincer le pied dans la craque ici. Et malheureusement, Marie-Michel n'arrive pas à trouver cette solution. On a vu que tous les autres grimpeuses qui ont réussi le problème numéro 2 venaient coincer le talon et l'orteil entre les deux volumes, et c'était la façon, jusqu'à maintenant, la seule façon que j'ai vue pour réussir le problème numéro 2 des femmes.
And just as her feet came away, I mean, just so much energy burned to that point, unable to hold the swing. And you're going to see Brendan Doyle unsuccessful, Kinder McNamee unsuccessful, Matthew Rodriguez unsuccessful. So into the realm of disappointment in that 5-minute span, a lot of people got very close and not quite enough. So we're going to see right on the right of your screen there, Ivan Liu. And we're going to see Alexa Vanier. And now we're over on boulder 4. That's Kaya Taylor Ainsley giving it a good brush. So you maybe take that first minute when you're looking at the boulder, you're sussing out the beta, you're looking at the holds, you get the brush out. You get some chalk off, but you learn a little bit, right? You put the brush on the hold, you see the angle. So there's lots that goes on in the first minute of a boulder, Frank. There's the solving piece, the decision making, and then you got to compose yourself a little bit. Decide if it's a powerful boulder, you've got to wind up your energy. If it's a delicate boulder, you've got to slow your heart rate, your excitement down a little bit.
Il faut faire un plan dans sa tête et s'y tenir avec toutes les indications qu'on peut voir. On regarde la magnésie sur les prises. On peut regarder aussi les traces noires que les varapes laissent sur les problèmes pour indiquer un peu où les grimpeurs avant nous ont laissé ont appliqué la varape. Donc, ça peut nous donner des indications un peu.
Ivan Liu looking very sure on a flash. And Guy McNamee here getting into the zone.
Now, you were saying maybe Guy gave too much effort on problem number 1, and he's maybe going to pay the price on problem number 2. So we'll see what's going to happen here with Guy McNamee.
And we see option number 15 for the start of this boulder number 4. Almost every climber has shown us a different variety of starting and getting in and out of that first move. As we have Alexa Vanier from Alberta. Just that left hand fingertips.
Oh, un seul doigt.
And then pinching, but not quite enough. I mean, you almost want to be higher on the right foot on the purple volume. So getting on the Thunder Cling just to change the balance. Alexa Vanier making sure.
Refait la méthode avec le undercling, la prise inversée avec 2 pouces. C'est vraiment une technique que plusieurs grimpeuses ont utilisée sur le problème numéro 1.
It's an option. You have choices at the top of that boulder. And sometimes you get to try them all in the same attempt. And we saw Paige go into the undercling and then back to the other and then back to the undercling and then match the undercling. So you get a little bit of everything when you're up there. Sometimes you just have to throw your plan out the window and go with what feels good in the moment.
Ouais.
Sam solving the handless move across the face of this slab. And wants to be turned, sort of hips the other way for sure. A good look at what the top of this boulder takes. Sam making room.
Ouais, maintenant, il doit rester composé. Malheureusement, sa main ne semble pas être sur le bon crimp et il va peut-être devoir repositionner sa main et malheureusement, il a glissé. Donc, McNamee qui refait un essai sur le problème numéro 2 avec 1 minute 30 à faire. Oh oui, réussi!
Faulkner, look at the right hand, just barely in the good part of that hold. Ekes it out. So it doesn't always have to be perfect, Frank. Sometimes you just have to get a couple fingers on, and that's enough for these climbers to take just the right amount of energy at the end of their attempt and say, I'm going to pour everything I have into not perfect, but I'm going to make it work. The desire to not fall off is a huge motivator. Maybe you don't want to do the first move again. Lots of things run through your mind when you stick the last hold with 2 fingers.
Des fois, ça fait mal et il faut insister pour répéter.
And Guy, I think that maybe is the more powerful way to do the first move. You see sort of turning his right shoulder inside out, and then you're so much tension on the right side, this pinch, and then you go right hand again as part of the undercling move.
Il faut réussir à monter le pied gauche et ensuite prendre la main droite et partir du pinch et aller en inversé avec le volume. Et c'est à ce moment-là qu'on est capable de vraiment s'élancer sur la grosse prise verte inversée à la fin.
So Guy McNamee with 15 seconds is not going to try again and is going to come away with 2 misses on the first 2 boulders. Kaya, I think, is going to run out of time even if she manages to stick this. And that's going to do it for Sam as well. So, maintenant, Frank, on a entre le troisième semi-finaliste, Victor Baudrin
Oui,
and
donc,
Indiana Chapman.
oui. Alors, Sean McCoyle qui va bouger sur le problème numéro 2 avec Paige Buklachuk. On voit ici Sean qui est en train d'étudier le problème numéro 2 pour essayer de se faire une tête sur quelle est la bonne méthode à utiliser. Alors qu'on voit Victor qui ne perd pas de temps. À peine 30 secondes pour lire le problème. Et c'est parti.
Making quick decisions.
Victor qui est un espoir canadien d'importance. On vous rappellera qu'il a fait 5e à la Coupe du monde de Chamonix en difficulté.
And makes the last move look quite simple.
Oui, avec le sourire, semble très très confiant.
Sean, I think a knee bar.
Ouais,
Not quite.
coincement de genou, peut-être un peu rapide pour aller chercher la pince, la prise mauve.
And trying to cut first with his swing there, not working out. Kinder McNamee. The McNamees historically known, the brothers, for climbing very carefully, very slowly, very measured. Kinder has been of late better results in lead. He's been climbing routes. Most of his good success has been in lead climbing.
Buklachuk sur le problème numéro 2. Maintenant, est-ce qu'elle va réussir à aller trouver le coincement talon-orteil entre les deux volumes qui, jusqu'à maintenant, a été un succès? Regarde, elle est en train de placer son pied maintenant. Donc, voici la clé dont je vous parlais. C'est Marie-Michel qui n'avait pas réussi à trouver cette méthode.
And on the left, Amy Takashima holding the swing. So Paige Buklachuk looking right at the finish hold. And you see back to that little heel toe. She needs to make that switch and this match.
Oh.
And then unable to keep tension in her foot. And that is going to be, you can see her like breathing heavy. That is a lot of effort. That is a strong effort, but getting to the last hold in almost a minute of climbing, it's so taxing, Frank. So difficult.
Sean McCoyle qui repart sur le problème numéro 2. Et c'est la même chose. Hein? Le problème numéro 2 chez les hommes et chez les femmes, c'est des problèmes extrêmement physiques. On a très, très peu d'essais pour réussir.
Yeah, these are the most physically taxing boulders. They're early in the round. Sean, can he get this left heel on? This is the key to this boulder. As you were saying, there's a move here.
Undercling.
Just to squeeze the undercling.
Oui.
And now keeping that foot tension. Sean sort of trying all the things. And then just trying to go double to the undercling. So trying to get a toe hook on the right side. Trying to establish on the crimp on the face. I mean, from the angle on your screen, it doesn't look that steep. It's 50 degrees, Frank. And then the shape of that volume, you're pulling on something not out against the wall. You're trying to step up into it. All of the angles make this boulder so difficult. We know how strong Sean McCall is.
Kinder.
Good save from Kinder.
McNamee qui prend son temps.
And just casual,
Yeah.
chalk up, 1 foot on only. So people often say 3 points of contact when you're new to climbing. It's important to have 3 points of contact. Kinder having 3 non-points of contact and looking.
Oh! Il n'a pas mis son talon sur la
Non.
petite prise en plus. Hein. Il est seulement coincé. Il poussait avec l'intérieur de sa cuisse pour rester stable sur le problème. Très, très, très bien.
I mean, it's if you don't want to get up high, right? The heel hook throws your weight way, way out. Just that squeeze. 30 seconds. Paige is actually going to have to move pretty quickly. 30 seconds often enough time to climb a boulder, but you see just out of gas. So that is basically a one try to empty the tank. And she is going to get close.
Oh, oui.
Wow.
That was smooth.
Very smooth from Rodriguez. And staring at the last move. 10 seconds. Sort of, I'm going to say, Meanwhile, Sean McCall is elected to not try it one more time, so he only gave it 2 tries. He's going to conserve some energy.
Yeah.
In his mind, he's thinking, I don't know that anyone else topped that boulder.
Ouais, c'est exactement ce que Caleb Thomas nous expliquait hier. Un des ouvreurs nous disait, sur le problème numéro 2, si on ne réussit pas sur le premier essai, ça va être très, très difficile de réussir sur le deuxième et troisième parce que ça tire beaucoup trop d'énergie.
Yeah, there's lots of boulders where your second and third try, you're unlocking a little bit of sequence each time, and it's not sapping you so much. But this boulder, if it's not on the first try, it's probably not getting done. And that has proven to be true to this point.
Except for Nathan Smith.
Except for Nathan Smith, who is maybe an exception to lots of rules.
Beast mode today
Yeah.
with 4 tops. Oh oui.
L'autre Baudrin, Oscar Baudrin, the younger
Ça
of the
semblait
two.
facile, hein?
Yeah, ça semblait facile.
Comme son frère.
Meanwhile, Jane Cuff, very strong.
Look at the shoulders.
Yeah,
Wow, shoulders popping out here.
holding the tension and just a little bit short. And then Alexa Vanier spinning around and Alana Yip.
Alana Yip, l'autre olympienne. Sean McCall chez les hommes, Alana Yip chez les femmes. 14e aux derniers Jeux olympiques. Elle a gagné les National Cup Series à Canada en bloc. Donc, elle sait qu'elle est en forme.
And looking every bit composed on her first flash attempt. First try, you do the boulder on your first try. We say that as a flash attempt. It's language we've created in the climbing community. Alana Yip is going to flash this boulder.
Oui, un flash, ça veut dire réussir le problème en un seul essai. Et c'est vraiment le but ultime en escalade de bloc. En voie aussi, en fait.
Guy McNamee originally sort of going up and palming that triangle, similar to his brother did a similar thing. They often, I mean, they are twins. They often will do similar things even when they haven't seen the other climb. Their styles are very similar, so it was interesting to see him go to that triangle. Alexa Vanier, again, just not holding tension in the right side. Sean Faulkner here. Just making this foot match.
Faulkner qui a réussi un problème à l'extérieur, V14. Donc, il sait, il a la force. Maintenant, sur le plastique, c'est complètement différent. C'est des mouvements beaucoup plus gymnastiques. Voyons voir s'il réussit à contrôler le top.
I mean, he looks very measured here. I think that's going to be fine for him.
Wow.
Oh, wow. I thought he was going to slip. I thought he was going to slip, Frank. I think maybe the little smile we saw was as he regained control. Jane Cuff, it's so tricky to get that left foot on. I think Jacqueline Ho there topping boulder number 3. We did hear a cheer from the crowd.
Guy
McNamee,
yeah.
looking like he was stumped by that boulder, unlocked the sequence.
Very good.
Very good. Alexa here needs to be more in control and less squeeze the boulder. It can be difficult, Frank. It's a trap. When you know you're quite strong, and Alexa's gotten quite strong quite quickly, that you're like, oh, I can do this move. I can just campus this move. I'll just squeeze here. I'll just squeeze there. So need to think a little bit more carefully. Sometimes you can't just decide to be strong even though you really want to just decide to be strong. 1 minute to go. Jane Cuff trying to get some blood flow back into her forearms and fingertips. Meanwhile, Ivan Liu holding the toe hook here for tension.
C'est parti pour Jen. Oh, les pieds qui décrochent et directement, on se fait éjecter du bloc.
Yep. Par for the court. Just reaching fingertips. Oh, and running out of gas, I think. I mean, you see there, she looks tired.
Oui,
That's a lot of climbing your 4th boulder.
exténué.
That is quite the chalk bag, actually. I just saw that for the first time.
Wow.
That's a chalk bag the size of a backpack. I was not expecting to see that right at the end of her round. That's wonderful. Dustin Curtis, if there's a backstory behind that chalk bag, hit me up with the story there. All right, Frank, just like that, our top qualifiers are out on their first boulder. So we see Lucas Uchida staring at the boulder. Lots of brushing and work going on in the background. I know we're excited to see Sean on his third boulder. Lucas just having a good look. Sean having a good look. This is as close to World Cup style. This is something, the kind of coordination move that Sean will be very familiar with. And there you see your top qualifier on the women's side, Evangelina Briggs.
Ouais, une des 5 femmes qui ont 15 ans seulement. Et Evangelina est extrêmement performante. 5 flashs hier.
And it's so important to remember that means first try means read it right, got it right, no mistakes executed. So flashing boulders all the way across the round is super, super, super impressive. You see Paige, the clock is not actually zeros. They just started the round, but Paige with a flash. Lucas Uchida, that's a flash. Strong work. Maddie Michel staring at her boulder. Evangelina looking like that.
Ouais, en ce moment, il reste 3 minutes 30, so 3 minutes 30. Looks like they're having a little problem with the clock here.
Yeah, so that's okay. It's fine in the room. It's just the clock that we've got on screen, no big deal. There we go, back on track.
Exactly.
Evangelina Briggs with a flash. And here we see Victor Baudrin on his second boulder. We've only seen limited success on this boulder right at the beginning of the round, interestingly enough, and then nothing for 17 climbers.
Marie Michel, l'Italien qui s'élance sur le problème numéro 4, son dernier problème. Maintenant, elle essaie vraiment d'aller en finale. Ça s'est déroulé peut-être un peu moins bien qu'elle le voulait comparativement aux qualifications. Ces semi-finales semblent un peu plus difficiles.
Sean just having a good look. And in classic style, Sean comes into every competition and then cuts his hair the day before. So he had a full head of hair on Thursday, and then he's gone back to the super close side shave. It's just one of those. Look at all the bandages on Matthew's right leg. That shows you how much fight he put into his qualifying round yesterday.
Ouais, c'est une bataille, hein, c'est le cas de le dire. Victor Baudrin, qui lui aussi, pas plus tard qu'il y a environ 2 semaines, a réussi un problème V14 au Mont-Tremblant.
I mean, if you are, it doesn't always cross over. If you climb very well outside, though, if you're a very, very strong climber, you're going to climb well outside. It doesn't always translate to plastic. They're different, but being able to climb V14 puts you in a good mindset to be able to do finals. These boulders are not V14, which shows you the difference of competition climbing, what goes into that 5-minute time frame on the boulder in front of you. V14, maybe it takes you a few weeks, a month or two.
11 tries, 11 days.
11 days of
11
climbing.
days it took him, yeah. So now he has 5 minutes.
Yeah. So you know you have the strength to squeeze the holds. You know they have the ability to grab the crimps, do the right thing. But there is so much that goes into, and then by the time you sort of consider all the things that go into those 5 minutes, maybe 2 or 3 tries. So.
Yeah.
This is different.
Oh, yeah, he's trying something completely new.
I mean, I don't see this, but I've been surprised before, Frank. And
yeah,
and returning to this pinch, that's just going to be, unfortunately, a waste of gas. Mathieu Rodriguez.
C'est intéressant quand même, hein, parce que ça veut seulement dire que, alors que Sean ici travaille toujours le problème numéro 3, Victor Baudrin, il essaie une différente méthode. Il a essayé la première méthode à 2 reprises et ensuite il essaie de changer sa méthode. Étant donné que les 2 premières fois, sa première méthode ne fonctionnait pas, il essaie de trouver une nouvelle solution.
And I'm going to come straight out and be surprised that Sean has not done this paddle dyno.
Marie-Michel
qui essaie le talon. The hand-foot match. Sean, 15 seconds. Yet to establish the zone. So this might become critical. Frank,
I'm shocked.
I'm shocked.
Oui, vraiment, là, c'est un peu choquant. Normalement, c'est le type de problème que Sean excelle. On a vu que c'est possible de le faire. Plusieurs grimpeurs ont réussi. Donc, Sean qui n'a pas réussi à trouver la solution sur le premier mouvement, qui est un mouvement extrêmement compliqué. Hein.
Et à ce moment, il faut faire 2 blocs puis 3 zones pour être en finale. Et c'est le numéro des essais qui c'est important. Donc maintenant, Sean qui a seulement fait le bloc numéro 1, faut réussir le bloc numéro 4 juste pour une chance. Et il n'a pas réussi la zone sur le numéro 2. Donc ça va être intéressant. Maintenant, keeper eye, Sean McCall has not put himself in a favorable position to make the final. So we are a little surprised, but there's still 1 boulder to go and options.
En ce moment, chez les hommes, c'est Brennan Doyle qui ferme la marche avec 2 tops et 3 zones. 2 tops en 4 essais. C'est ce qui est important à retenir. Et chez les femmes, c'est Leah Wickowski qui ferme la marche en 6e place avec 2 tops en 5 essais. Donc, on va garder un œil là-dessus.
Oscar Baudrin, and then Ivan Lou here has stuck the dyno on his first try. And we see Guy McNamee not quite making the tip move. Ivan Lou, who really looked like he was climbing very well yesterday. And then you see just an option there on the corner of your screen. Alexa Vanier trying to toe hook the start hold. Guy trying to brush some friction back into those footholds. If you brush hard enough, maybe you can carve out a slightly better foothold. Jacqueline Ho just wrestling up. And it's sort of the 17th variation of the start of boulder number 4 for the women. I'm starting to really like boulder number 4, Frank. Tried to go straight to the zone.
Yeah.
Yep.
Lots of few girls have tried that.
Sometimes it's nice to be able to crimp something, right? You know, catching a sloper dynamically can be very difficult. A really good look at the footwork required. Interesting on volumes like this. Ideally, you drop your heels for extra friction, but when you need to create movement, you've got to get back up on your toes.
Oh,
that's when most of the mistakes happen. They did that
Very
very
fluid.
smooth.
Oui.
But has he left room? Oh, just
Wow.
Guy McNamee. Look at he rolled his eyes at the top of that boulder like, wow, I got that done.
All right, now
Alana
Yip.
Unsuccessful on her first try, got caught right here with her foot slipping and is now being a little more careful. Will she get this heel toe cam? This is good stuff. Jacqueline Ho on your left.
Double
Quite.
heel toe cam.
Yep. Alana looking, is she going to looking pretty casual. If you could chalk up here, maybe she'll switch that right hand. Yeah.
No, she needs to match that. Oh, crossover. Strong.
Very strong.
Oui.
That is very composed from Alana Yip to chalk up on the last move and then cross through. Ivan Lou gets it right.
Nice.
That's as good as we've seen, Frank. We've seen a lot of the climbers that got closer completed that boulder right hand and then following with the left. He essentially went both together, double dyno, and planted his hands down at the same time. That is excellent coordination work from Ivan Lou. Still time on the clock for Jacqueline and Oscar. But as we've said, men's boulder number 2, diminishing returns every try after the first try. 30 seconds. It's now or never. Oscar Baudrin and Alexa Vanier getting the first move right near the end, getting the zone.
Oh, elle a matché.
Oh!
Wow.
She matched. That crimp is blocked. The root hitters put a crimp inside the crimp to avoid the match. And Alexa, I think with one finger each, made the match. So establishing the zone, but walking away without a top on boulder number 3. And that is going to put us no one on boulder number 1 now. So as the round winds down, we have the reverse of what happened this morning. Now we've only got 3 climbers on the wall. We'll get more and more focused as we go. Sean McCall absolutely must top this boulder, and at this point, attempts will start to matter. He's being chased by Lucas and Ivan, who are looking so far like they are going to do damage. I'm holding my breath a little bit, Frank.
Oh, I think everyone wants to see Sean in final.
Mm-hmm.
Sean has been a superstar of the Canadian climbing community
For so many years.
Mm-hmm.
And then immediately knows that he doesn't have the balance right. Lucas Uchida on the very exclusive team Super Strong. A little club of climbers. Angelina. Just wow.
Well, that was
Lucas.
ça prenait beaucoup de force pour
Oui.
rattraper ça.
And you see him, this is everything he's got. Paige on your left. And Lucas running out. Paige, you see that? The height, right? You jump a little bit higher, allowing you to sink down into that sloper. That's definitely the right way to do that move.
Ouais, avec le crochet d'orteil comme Babette Roy.
Yeah. And then going way out left here. Yes. Paige Buckles-Chuck. If she can hold that, yes, the left toe stays on. That is excellent climbing from Paige. And Sean McCall now in the zone. Are we going to see a top, Frank?
Il a amplement le temps, encore 3 minutes à faire pour Sean, donc il peut prendre le temps de vraiment s'installer maintenant.
Yeah. Try not to make any mistakes. Evangelina Briggs on your right with that heel toe cam. So important to get through the last few moves of this boulder. And
Oh non!
Sean somehow
Wow!
recovered the little tip of balance.
J'étais sûr qu'il tombait, puis
Yes,
j'étais
me
sûr
too.
qu'il tombait.
Me too, Frank.
Evangelina Briggs qui va essayer de faire le problème numéro 2. Voyons voir si elle va croiser les mains ou relancer la main droite.
Heel hook. We haven't seen that yet, and she is being. Ooh! Oh, I thought she was being so careful to bring the heel up in order to not have that happen, and maybe it just throws your balance a little bit too far out. Lucas sticking the undercling. Lucas Uchida, mesdames et messieurs.
Coincement de genou.
Just trying to make it stick. Yes.
Voilà.
La bloc numéro 2 pour les hommes has not seen any tops since Nathan Smith, and David Trudeau is going to get topped by.
Oh, Oscar Baudran qui utilise sa grandeur pour réussir à aller chercher le top sur le problème numéro 3.
Full extension of his fingertips. Things are getting spicy right now, Frank. I did not think Sean was going to hold the swing. I did not think that Victor was going to hold the last hold, and I did think that Evangelina was going to do the last move. So now third try of Evangelina Briggs. What has she got left in the tank?
Ah, les pieds qui ont décroché et directement elle s'est fait éjecter du problème. Hein?
And now, especially on your third and fourth try, the feet become even more important. No slips, no room for error. 1 minute to go.
She's going to have to hurry a bit. Voyons, maintenant les pieds doivent rester. Il doit trouver la solution. Et les pieds qui décrochent et malheureusement semblent un peu à bout de souffle. Là.
The only way to create friction is through tension. There's nothing to press really in that position for your feet. Very sapping in your core as well. Evangelina will be maybe a little disappointed. It's so hard in this kind of round. In their 5 minutes of rest, you're also trying to get through the mental side. So if you don't do the boulder, you're thinking about having not done the boulder. But then you have to move on. You have more work to do. So you have to let go and get set for the next, for her. There's still a lot of work to do. There are 2 very difficult boulders to come. And you can't get dejected. You don't know what's been done before you. You sometimes have an idea, but you don't know who the crowd is cheering for when there's 6 climbers on the wall. It's not necessarily your boulder.
Il faut rester concentré, rester motivé, rester positif dans sa tête. Hein. Là, quand on commence à être trop négatif dans la tête, on fait des erreurs, et on n'est pas confiant sur le problème, donc c'est plus difficile de performer.
Yeah, the expression "it's not over till it's over" holds true in bouldering competitions. Good work from Oscar Baudrin.
Est-ce qu'il va faire comme son frère? Il va y aller en pleine extension, même grandeur que son frère pratiquement. Non, il va de mouvement tactique et
Alana Yip
Yip qui réussit le problème numéro 3.
on flash in less than 1 minute. So she didn't take long to look at it and didn't take long to climb it, and she will love the extra 4 minutes to rest after the scrap of Boulder 2. Alexa Vanier fighting a bit on the first move. And Ivan Liu kind of, you saw just a little tip of the head there. What, I got to get this, I got to go that way. So much balance. A little peek at the clock from Ivan.
On a pris le temps de vraiment se relaxer. Hein. Je ne sais pas si tu as remarqué, Pete, il a vraiment pris le temps de prendre un 10-15 secondes avant d'embarquer sur le problème, vraiment pour essayer de rester calme. Alors que Oscar Baudrin, c'est fait.
C'est fait, Oscar.
Ça commence à être serré hein, chez les hommes et chez les femmes pour rentrer en finale maintenant. Ça se bat. Les meilleurs sont sur le plancher. On a presque fini d'ailleurs.
We're getting down to it. Everyone on the mat right now has their fate in their hands.
Alana Yip qui est la seule qui réussirait à rejoindre Babette Roy. Et on sait aussi que c'est important en finale d'essayer de rentrer en finale le plus haut possible dans le classement parce qu'on a des indications.
Ouais.
Si c'est plus difficile d'avoir des indications sur la performance des grimpeurs en qualification, en finale, c'est autre chose. Il y a seulement 4 problèmes. Et avec les applaudissements de la foule, on est capable un peu de savoir qui des 6 filles a réussi à faire les tops.
But interestingly, not all climbers like to go last. Some people like to climb without the information. It changes the pressure. So depending on what you like, it can be you see Alexa there trying to go straight to the zone crimp. As you say, some climbers like to come out at the back of the pack. So qualifying higher up, you come out 5th or 6th. On the finals boulders, you get a lot more information from the crowd and what's been going on and how long it takes people to climb them. We'll get into the finals format, just as we get into that side of the broadcast. But some climbers don't like that extra information or the pressure, so they're happy to come out first. So you have to adapt regardless. You don't get to pick your spot. Ivan Liu, to this point, unsuccessful across the slab. And just...
Bouge un peu trop vite hein, et on doit vraiment essayer de bouger un peu plus lentement pour mettre les 2 pieds sur le petit triangle.
A difference of a couple of degrees changes the balance significantly. And a good look at the angle change. Oh, nice foot catch.
Oui.
Alexa Vanier, 1 minute to go.
Gros mouvement d'épaule.
Oh, and sa main gauche a juste départi un peu. Pas un peu, beaucoup. Totalement, tu fais. Ivan Liu.
Voyons voir s'il va bouger plus lentement maintenant lorsqu'il va faire la transition vers le petit triangle gris caché par Alexa Vanier. Voilà. Donc maintenant, il doit essayer de lever vers le haut.
Even that tiny adjustment.
Incroyable. Et avec 30 secondes à faire, ce ne sera pas possible, je crois, pour Ivan Liu. Il va repartir très vite, mais il va devoir se presser et c'est pas le problème qu'on peut se permettre de se presser.
No, he's looking for his zone. Alexa too. She's going to get back on. She's hunting a zone.
It's the last problem, so
Yeah.
why not?
Get up there. And then just, there is nothing left to give from Alexa Vanier. Full respect for trying everything. Ivan Lou, 4 seconds. Not going to be enough time, as you say. That's a 1 minute boulder to climb. Slow moving.
Well,
I think Lucas Uchida, Evangelina Briggs, Victor Boldrin, Indiana Chapman about to be on the wall. We're down to 4. And I think that at this point,
Indiana has 2 tops. She's in 8th place, but she still have problem number 4 to do. So she still have a chance to squeeze in the final.
So already established for sure the top 3 or 4 of our finalists. A little bit of room at the back of the field.
I believe you're going to need 3 tops for the woman to get in final.
Angelina, as we see here, Indiana Chapman on her flash attempt, and Victor Baudrin.
Indiana qui a grimpé de façon très, très intelligente hier.
On the foothold, just to take some of the explosivity out of that movement.
Look at that toe hook still working.
Can she hold the swing on this match? That's the trick. She's so extended.
Oh,
yes.
Like 3 fingers.
Wow. Wow. Really good save. Chapman looking like,
and look
the first
at that.
First one to go up high.
Yes.
That is good work at the end of the round.
La mobilité d'Indiana Chapman, elle est incroyable et c'est ce qui lui a permis de monter son pied gauche aussi haut pour éviter le petit pied qui est si difficile à contrôler.
Yeah, and that little foot was proving to be so difficult up to that point, and just the hip mobility, as you say, the change in angle to get up around that corner, you have to be that much more mobile. And she made it work, and with that, punched her ticket into the final.
Yeah, from 8th to 4th place.
Yep. Great stuff from Indiana Chapman. Lucas Uchida staring at about 2.5 minutes to go. Looking at this boulder, it has an interesting mix of sends and sticks on this paddle move here.
Oui,
And
wow.
Lucas, that time very confidently, as you see Victor on your right. And Lucas Uchida just solving where to put the feet for this last move. Momentum's got to come from somewhere. Not quite enough.
Victor Baudrin qui semble... Ouh là là, essaie de se réajuster, va replacer son talon. Peut-être qu'il semblait glisser un peu.
Deuxième fois.
Voilà. Patience, hein? Victor Baudrin, qui, je crois, va rentrer en finale, était en 5e place en ce moment. Et il a monté en 2e place. Donc, il est passé de la 5e à la 2e place. Donc, c'est fait pour Victor pour les finales. Maintenant, il reste à voir Uchida doit réussir.
Just missed it. He's got 1:15 to go, so he'll get one more for sure. Interesting to see if he's going to leave himself a little bit of room because that move is insecure. It's not a long time to climb this boulder. So with now a minute to go, I am curious to see if he's going to give himself a little bit of breathing room or if he's going to let the clock run down for everything you've got.
Ouais, il peut se permettre de vraiment dépenser de l'énergie ici parce que le problème numéro 4, il le voit, c'est un problème qui n'est pas physique en tant que tel. C'est vraiment plus un problème méthodique.
And he knows, they'll know from having started on the right side of the wall, moving to the left, that the slab is coming up, so he knows, and he's looked at it from the ground for sure. Lucas Uchida.
Oui!
Yes.
Oh! Super!
Third or fourth try, locked in. So he is so far 3 for 3.
Et il vient d'éliminer Guy McNamee.
Wow.
Guy McNamee qui malheureusement s'est fait éliminer. Oh, et je crois que Lucas Uchida a demandé de l'aide pour avoir un pansement. Je crois qu'il s'est cogné le genou, donc
Bleeding.
un peu, oui.
Yeah. Now we see Alana Yip brushing and looking at boulder number 4.
Voilà, on va appliquer un pansement sur le genou de Lucas Uchida pendant son repos, ce qui devrait être amplement.
Yeah, we take blood very seriously in climbing competitions. The environment that we're in, there's lots of opportunity. Fingertips for sure bleeding. So you will see, we haven't seen it yet. There was a few moments in the qualifier yesterday. If there's blood on a hold, then we must go and clean that out. So they come back, the routers will come up with an isopropyl alcohol spray. They'll clean the blood, they'll rechalk the hold. So you must stop your bleeding. You cannot climb if you're actively bleeding out of your hands. And I believe also your any body parts. So Lucas will want to get that bandaged up. And I think the medical crew here has been excellent. I see lots of really good work being done. And because of the nature of Alana Yip here, yes, in complete control. And Baudrin aussi.
Ah, facile pour Oscar Baudrin.
And then Alana Campus.
Elle va garder son pied sur le petit pied. Oh, il a glissé.
Just short of the last move. Power to spare.
Donc, Oscar Baudrin, qui a réussi le problème numéro 4, remonte en deuxième place. Et donc, Lucas Uchida doit réussir au minimum une zone.
Sur le dernier bloc.
Au minimum une zone lors de son premier essai. S'il réussit la zone après 2 ou 3 essais, il sera en 7e place. Donc, ça va se battre entre Zach Richardson et Lucas Uchida sur le dernier problème.
Let's see if he tops the last boulder, he catapults into second place. So this is a tight round for the men. So as we said at the beginning, sometimes you have a round where, the difference is you have 1 or 2 tops. Here, most of the semifinalists that are going to make it into the final have 3 tops out of 4 boulders. So it's important to get zones right now for sure. Have become important over the round. All of those sort of 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th place all have zones in a short number of attempts. But a top here from Lucas will have 0 doubt into the final. Alana Yip letting the clock run down quite a bit here. I think she just thinks she knows a little bit of a slip on the last move. So if she's a little more careful, no problem to come through and finish this boulder.
Yeah,
I think second try.
Essaie d'avoir le maximum de repos possible. Et avec 2 minutes à faire, elle s'élance.
And just very straightforward through the beginning of this boulder for her, not getting caught in the corner, and holding really good tension through the sloper. I love this campus move. And then just a little closer to the wall.
En contrôle total, hein?
Yes. Made the adjustment.
Oui.
No mistakes. Second try. Alana Yip closes up her chalk bag on the way down. And a big smile. She's like, yes, that's what I needed to do. So, and just like that, Frank, we're about a minute away from our last 2 climbers on their last boulder.
Evangelina Briggs, avec un problème à faire, est en 7e place. Donc, elle doit faire un top.
There's a buzz in the room as we wait for the clock to go down from 1 minute. Evangelina up on the mat.
En fait, Evangelina a seulement besoin d'une zone en quelques essais pour rentrer dans le top 6.
She will knock out Emi Takashiba, currently sitting in 6th place. So also on the women's side, 3 tops necessary. Alana and Babette, the only 2 to top 4 boulders. Well, Evangelina Briggs, who might be a little disappointed by having not done the second boulder, maybe thinking she should have done the second boulder.
And she was so dominant during qualification.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely was. And just needs to turn around and focus, get it done on the last boulder. There's 5 seconds until we roll this round, and just looking around at the clock. And here we go. Lucas Uchida, Evangelina Briggs are going to take us home in our semifinal round, which has been entertaining to say the least so far, Frank. The time just flows by. Just like that, we're 11:30, and we're looking at our last two climbers. Little brush.
Taking the time to brush.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to go out on a limb here, Frank. I'm going to say we get two flashes. I'm going to say Lucas flashes this boulder. I'm going to say Evangelina Briggs flashes this boulder. I'm just going to be bold. I'm always very conservative, trying to hold my predictions very far away.
All right.
But I'm going to go straight out and say we're going to see two flashes here. Why not? Evangelina Briggs.
Définitivement capable de flasher ce bloc.
Mm-hmm. There is a lot of options in the start here, as we've seen. So if you solve it, and just slow, creeping on. That shows you the left hand power. So many of the women have jumped to that hold. Evangelina.
De façon complètement statique, elle est capable de aller chercher aussi la zone.
No foothold.
Oh! That's going to be hard.
That's maybe just to
rest.
And Lucas getting a little too aggressive on the tip over move.
Woo!
Oh, she is going to roll the heel over. Evangelina Briggs.
Wow.
François, qu'est-ce qui arrive?
La mobilité incroyable d'Evangelina et va chercher la dernière prise vraiment de façon statique. Aucun problème pour la jeune grimpeuse. Briggs, seulement 15 ans, je vous le rappelle, rentre en finale.
When she put her heel up, Frank, I thought, yes, that's going to be just a moment to recompose, maybe chalk, and she'll drop it to make a campus move. To roll over her heel that way, the mobility required and the composure, as you say, at 15 years old, to get into finals. Wonderful stuff from Evangelina Briggs. Lucas Uchida just got it wrong on the first try. There's some adjustments to be made.
Such a tricky boulder.
That's better. He's become very good recently. Just tons of training and more exposure at making those adjustments. So making the learning and the speed with which you adapt from one try to the next is such a huge difference. Leaves room for the heel. We've seen a few climbers fight for space and is going to go. Just has to get his hips a little farther over.
Besoin de repositionner son talon pour être capable de tirer un peu plus. Attention, mobilité au niveau des lattes.
Yeah, he's got to change his right foot placement too to get his hips. This is as much a hip problem as it is a shoulder problem. So with that zone, he's in the final. But as you see, he's trying to sort of reach, and what he needs to do is shift his hips not that far, really. A few degrees from right to left, and that will solve the final body position. And you know, he doesn't know what he needs to do here. I think the climbers have an idea. You know, have come through the boulders. They know their competitors fairly well. He's going to think, man, a couple of these guys have done 4 boulders. You know, boulder 2 was really hard. But he's probably, you see a good look, a couple of good scratches from yesterday. There was some tight climbing yesterday. So a couple of scrapes from the friction. And Lucas Uchida, not a lot of rest required, and just has to make one more adjustment here.
Lucas Uchida qui est remonté de toute façon en 4e place avec cette zone. Donc, c'est fait, il est en finale. Maintenant, il aimerait bien quand même aller chercher son top.
Yeah. They always want to top the boulders. So being super careful, 1 minute to go.
Oui, en fait, c'est qu'il ne sait pas qu'il est en finale encore. Hein?
Non.
Nous, on a accès aux résultats. Lui, dans sa tête, il n'a aucune idée. Donc, bien entendu, il veut essayer d'aller chercher le top du bloc pour maximiser ses chances.
And you see right away his right foot is farther over. He's given himself more room right off the bat. And then just look at that. It's so close on that left heel. It's so delicate.
No.
Not enough. Lucas, a bit of a smile. And 30 seconds to go. He's not going to have another chance. He won't know till he looks at the scores, or maybe his coach will give him a thumbs up at this moment.
Well, for the men, looks like I'm very impressed by Nathan Smith. Très, très, très impressionnant avec le seul à réussir 4 tops dans cette zone, dans cette semi-finale, suivi d'Oscar Baudran et de Victor Baudran, les deux frères. Lucas Uchida en 4e place, Ethan Hoffman en 5e place, Sean Faulkner en 6e place. Voilà nos prétendants pour la finale cet après-midi.
A couple of surprises. Guy McNamee, last year's champion in 8th place. Sean McCall, your 10-time national champion, ended up in 10th place. Let down by one boulder there that just couldn't quite solve. And on the women's side, Frank, some very good climbing from Alana Yep and Babette Duat to top all 4 boulders. And then we're going to have Paige Buckleschuk coming in 3rd place. Madison Fisher, really good climbing to go into 4th. Evangelina Briggs, as we saw at the end there, putting herself in 5th place. And Indiana Chapman, also with an inspired bit of climbing, to go into 6th place, knocking out Emi Takashiba. 3 tops required.
Minimum 3 tops pour chez les femmes, ouais.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is going to do it for the semifinal round. There you see the results. Alana Yip, Babette, Paige Buckleschuk, Madison Fisher, Evangelina Briggs, and Indiana Chapman are going to round out your finals on the women's side. You see there, immediately the cleanup starts. They're going to switch over. Frank, they're going to pull all these boulders down, and we're going to put up 4 more boulders for the men and 4 more boulders for the women in our finals tonight. Come back and join us at 3:30 Eastern Time. Live stream link is going to be the same CEC YouTube channel. We saw some really good climbing this afternoon, Frank. I expect nothing less out of the final. I'm excited.
J'ai vraiment hâte de voir les problèmes, en fait. J'ai vraiment hâte de voir ce que les ouvreurs vont offrir en finale, alors qu'on voit ici les résultats chez les hommes. Nathan Smith, Oscar Baudran, Victor Baudran, Lucas Uchida en 4e place, Ethan Hoffman et Sean Faulkner en 6e place. Donc, voilà ce qui complète pour la finale chez les hommes cet après-midi.
Exactement. So the semifinal, done. That's a wrap. You've got your finalists locked in. They're going to go maybe have a nap, maybe have something to eat. You and I are going to go maybe have a nap, maybe have something to eat. I hope you had fun watching the semifinal. I thought it was a great round. The route setting so far has been excellent. The route setting yesterday was great. The route setting here, we haven't seen the finals boulders yet. We're going to hang around and watch those get put up, talk to the route setters, get some information. Make sure you come back and join us a little bit before 3:30 Eastern Time. Pete Woods, Frank Pélisien, merci beaucoup à vous autres. I had a good time.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Semifinals are always fun. We'll see you guys in a little bit. Boom.